Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan. And today we bring you the Tottenham News Bulletin. Plenty to get through. Full agreement on Joe Rodon. Conte's latest quotes about maybe, hopefully, potentially staying long term. And many, many more things to get through. Jack, how are you, my man?
Doing all right this morning, Dave. It seems like it could be a bit of a slow news day, but I am looking forward to seeing what the Harris Army has to say, because often when, it's a bit of a slower news day, the Harris Army, when they come on, Dave, they can find something good to talk about, something that's been kind of bothering them, amidst their day. And then, we can have a nice chat. So looking forward to what the people have to say. We did bring, a few kind of interesting kind of quotes and, maybe anecdotes, talk about today. If you don't really feel like, there's much really to be out there, we still did come prepared, but I'm looking forward to this one, Dave.
100%. 100%. It should be good. Big up, Mark, my man. I hope you're keeping well, brother. Good to see you in the building. Chris Agenbar says, big up, lads. Big up, Chris. Great to see you, brother. Adrian Schrocker says, good afternoon, all. Big up, Adrian, my man. Great to have you in the building. Neil Hartley says, big up, David. Come on, you Spurs. And you too, Jack. Come on, big you Spurs. Neil. Big up, Neil. I hope you're keeping well, my man. We've got Kais in the house. Says, big up, everyone. Big up, Kais. Good to see you in the building.
Big up, Elias.
We've got Dark Sung G. Said, big up, Dark Sung G. I hope you're keeping well. He's pumped for the game anyway. Says, Jose, watch out. We are a very different Spurs team with more class players, full of positive vibes and very fit as well. Conte extends, then Kane will. Look, I think Jose could be in for a bit of a shock. I do think, look, we're a couple of weeks ahead of them in terms of fitness. But it wouldn't surprise me if Jose instructs all 11 players to sit behind the ball and just soak it up. Maybe preseason, but he will not want Tottenham to win, because my opinion is if we slap them or we give them a good beating, it kind of then puts reflection on the job that Jose done at Tottenham, and he won't want to lose to Antonio Conte and make him look silly. So for me, I'll be honest, I think he's going to put all 11 men behind the ball. I know people are going to call me crazy in his preseason, but I think that's what his plan will be, And look, I've said this numerous of times. I think Conte commits his future. Harry Kane will also commit his. I don't think Kane will commit his without Conte giving him assurances that he's going to commit his future to Tottenham, if I'm being honest, Jack.
Dark G, he's going to be very surprised. Jose is going to be very surprised by the players that Conte has, the mentality of that squad, the fitness of the squad, like you said. Conte, Mourinho at one stage was, probably quite right, saying a lot of this Spurs squad, we're a bit kind of weak, maybe not so, kind of strong mentally, could kind of easily get a bit rattled, maybe didn't have as strong of a spine, you could say is kind of the players that we brought in now. So I bet he is, in for a surprise. Absolutely right.
Yeah, 100%. I can't wait for it. It's going to be a cracker of a game tomorrow. I cannot wait. John N says, afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is well. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, John N. Man. Good to see you in the house. Tequila 3166 says, big up the Irish and Co. Have we sold Sanchez yet? Nope, still here, my man. Still here. By the way, I turned the Rangers game off after 15 minutes and just went and watched the highlights purely because he was done by Rabbi Matondo twice inside 14 minutes. I think it was 46 seconds. And I was absolutely fucking fuming. I'm sitting there. I'm like, this guy's barely played in Germany. Barely played for the last 2-3 years. And he's out here doing up Sanchez. Absolutely ridiculous. Neil Shafton says, Shalom. Almost 1 week to go and this shit gets real. This season is Tottenham Hotspur in search of the Golden Boot and European glory. Big up, Neil. I absolutely love that. We've got Wolves F1. Big up the Irish Hotspur and the chat. Good vibes. Big up, my man. Great to see you.
Good to see you.
Proven 99. Good to see you in the building, buddy. And thank you for helping out while I was out, my man. This is good afternoon, all. Let's hope Conte is here for the next 5 years at least. We should be in a winning habit by then. Well, I hope so. I hope we're in a winning habit by this season, Kuba, to be honest with you. I can't go through another season of win one, lose one. It drives me insane. It's not good. It's not good. Sergey, new YouTube member. Big up, my man. I think he's from Croatia. I think he put in a comment there saying.
Yeah, he's from Croatia. Big up, Sergey. Sergey Lempel. Love it. Great name as well. Hopefully you can come on. The link is in your community section, my man. Just click on, that little Irish Hotspur logo. Go over to that community section. You'll find the link in about 15, 20 minutes, my man. Big up, Sergey.
Big up, Sergey. And make sure you spread the word around all the Croatian Spurs fans, my man. Tell them to get subscribing to the Irish Hotspur. Big yourself up, brother. We've got Eamon Burns. Big up, my man. Good to see you. Wembley 1. Great to see you this afternoon, boys. Fewer preseason friendlies this year than previously. Not surprising, though, given the amount of real games in condensed time this season coming. Most teams doing the same. Yeah, 100%, my man. Look, there's no point of running the bollocks off them going through 7, 8 friendlies with 16 games, and I think that's 16 league games, let alone Champions League games to cram in before I think it's October, November. So, it's wise not to have that many. Big up, my man. Big up, Donovan Oosterreicher says, good morning, lads. Got my 2 egg McMuffins. Now just sitting, chilling, waiting to hear the good news, man. I don't remember the last time I was up for a McDonald's breakfast, if I'm being honest. But big yourself up and enjoy them, brother. THFC, Till I Die says, big up, lads. Both true Spurs legends. I'll pop on when I'm back if you're still on. We are on the road to the to match the double side. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Dermot. I hope you're keeping well, my man. We've got Paul Spurs Mad 68, not as mad as me, my man. Says, big up, guys. Big up, lad. Hope you're keeping well. Dan N is in the house more than all. Lots of positive news coming out of Spurs land today. You love to see it. Some good news, my man, about Conte. Derek Smith says, good afternoon on this beautiful sunny day. Pretty overcast and shit here, if I'm being honest, my man. But you enjoy your day wherever you are. Derek Spencer Arnold says, afternoon, everyone. Big up, Spencer. We've got Rowan Coomer says, let's go, guys. Good to see you up and running, Dave. You guys are my medicine. Really appreciate that, my man. Big up, Rowan. Chris says, big up, everyone. Big up, David, Harry Kane, Harris, and Jack Winks. Biggest fan, Kaniki. Absolutely love it. Love it. Big up, lad. Catty Prince says, big up, lads. Getting excited. I mean, the excitement is there. It's well and truly here. I'm not going to lie. 3-4 all says 2 or 3 more signings, and we're bang at it. R Green 216 says, afternoon, my fellow.
Good to see you, R Green.
My fine fellows. Big up, R Green. Good, big up, man. Good to see you. Good to see Mark Miller as well. Great to see you in the building. Anthony White, CD, Joseph Monaghan, Juan Daniel Sandoval, Paul Gregory, Music Round, the hottest spur. Big up, lad. Good to see you in the building. Moondog says, good afternoon, lads. 3-1 to us. Dyer goal. Oh, I don't know about that.
Dyer scoring on Mourinho could be possible. You know, he and Jose had a bit of a spicy relationship, you could say, Moondog. Perhaps, Moon Boots is a bit more motivated than usual to score.
Maybe. Look, he did bag one against the Korean 11, but I think that's probably his goal for the season, Moondog. Look, if I was you, I'd probably put more money on Davies to score next season than Dyer, Romero, someone like that. Dyer, I'm losing faith in the guy, I'll be honest. I'm losing faith in the guy for you, especially since he turned up first game of preseason after you back him all season long to score. And then he bangs in a cracker. It's like, where's that been all season?
He's trolling him.
Yeah, he is trolling him. Big up, Moondog, brother. Really appreciate the support. Same as Darks on G as well. And we'll give a couple more shout-outs, and then we're going to crack into some of the news and then start getting you guys on. We've got Sandil Butlezi. Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. We've got Terry Wright. Big up, Terry Wright. Great to see you in the building. Who else have we got here? Wolves F1. Great to see you. Foggy Phone, my man.
Good to see you, Foggy.
Spurs can't wait for tomorrow's game. These past few preseason games, our backline needs to have a good game. Hope Langley starts. Haven't kept a clean sheet all preseason. And I've been spouting on about that defense. But people keep telling me, no, David, it doesn't need to be fixed. Look at the amount of clean sheets they kept towards the end of last season. Blah, 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 blah. Well, of course they were keeping clean sheets towards the end of last season because our team were attacking teams and playing them off the park. But the games where we couldn't score, they conceded goals. And this is why I keep harping on about this defense. If you think, like, we're conceding goals against K-League 11, Korea, or Sevilla, Rangers, right? You imagine what teams are going to do to us in the Champions League. You imagine we're going to concede goals against Liverpool, City, Chelsea, no matter who we come up against in the semi-finals or the finals deep in the cup. And this is what I keep telling people. Stop telling me this defense is sound. It's not. If it's conceding goals right now, it's going to continue doing it. People keep taking this defense off the last few games off the back end of last season. Take it off the whole of last season. From start all the way to the middle of the season, all the way up until January or February till we had the transfer window. That defense was all over the shop. all over the shop. Then when we finally got Bentancur in and we could actually start playing a bit of ball, it improved slightly, but it still needs improving. Not one clean sheet so far. And I know people are going to say, oh, David, it's only preseason. But you're going to be the same people come crying to me when we get better in the semi-final because one of these fuckers make a mistake back there. You know? So for me, it's got to be improved. Bit of a rant there. I'm sorry about that, guys, but I have to do it because the defense fucks me off. El Saeed, big up, my man. Simon Davies, good to see you. Ian Ferguson, great to see you, my man. Scotty Hynam, Kevin Wood, great to see you all. Mark says, Justin, THFC and Roma, AS Roma are in talks over deal for Zaniolo. Roma are open to letting him leave, and an exit is likely to happen, even with a loan plus option to buy deal. We'll have a look at that now in a few minutes, my man. Just going to welcome a few more people in, and then we're going to crack on. Big up, Mark. We've got Derek Hutchinson, good to see you. The Tottenham one, Mayhem Skip, T.O. Isaac, Michael Anderson, great to see you. Lovely badge beside your name. Lovely badge beside your name. Total Spurs TV, great to see you. Paul Brown as well, good to see you in the building. It's been a while, my man. And Daniel Larson as well. And Ashley, big yourself up. Ashley Coupe, good to see you. But look, I suppose, Jack, look, we'll hand over to you before I go off on another rant about this defense takeover, my man.
Yes, and I did verify that just from Tottenham Tiers Twitter, Dave. They're saying THFC are in talks to sign Zaniolo from AS Roma. The door is likely to open by the end of the transfer window, even with a loan formula with an option to buy coming from Santi. Let me check. Santi Ayuna, who, according to Tottenham Tiers, is kind of in between a first and second tier sort of source. So it seems like, the most weight is behind, us signing Zaniolo. Whether we'll actually sign Zaniolo, I'm not sure, Dave. But, it seems like if we are going to sign a creative midfielder, I'd probably put my fiver that it could be Zaniolo.
Look, I would 90% of it, Jack, but I'd tear off that 10% at the end. Because, look, we were all in for Ericsson. Basuma comes out of nowhere. And that's happened a couple of times this window. We were all in for someone, and next thing something comes out of left field. So, look, I do think it is all looking likely with Zaniolo. If you look at Tottenham's interest, it's been there since the guy's, 18, 19? So I would say it does look like we're all in. And look, maybe we can get a deal done while they're over there.
Yeah, well, we're over there, but I guess, time will tell, everybody, but we are going to go on to the news that we do know. And of course, just reiterating from last night, Fabrizio Romano tweeted this morning, everybody, that there has been a full agreement completed. Joe Rodon will join Rennes with a deal in place with Tottenham on loan with an option to buy worth around 20 million euros, as revealed yesterday, just waiting to sign the paperwork. All parties working on final details. Rodon follows Tiate as new Rennes player. So he looks like officially going to be announced as kind of a Rennes player, at least temporarily on loan, Dave. Antonio Conte said that playing regularly before the World Cup is important to Joe Rodon. Do you kind of see this as maybe the reason why he has gone there on loan?
No, I'll be honest. He's gone there because he's average, Jack, and he's not good enough for Tottenham Hotspur. Look, you can use the World Cup as an excuse if you want. I left because I wanted to get football.
I do think that is important to him, though, to be fair. Like, I know he is leaving because he probably is average. That is, you're right by saying he's leaving that he is average. But at the same time, he does want to get regular football before his Wales team embark in the World Cup. And he wants to be as ready as he possibly can, to have them go as far as possible. If he's sitting on the bench at Spurs, he would technically be not as good as he might be as if he were playing regularly, somewhere else.
Look, for me, Jack, look, I get what you're saying, right? And look, I will admit I did wake up on the wrong side of bed today, so I am a bit grumpy. But look, if this guy really did care about first team football, why didn't he fuck off last season? Why didn't he push the boat out to leave last season and go? Why didn't he leave last January to go if he really wanted to go? Look, for me, I do think, look, obviously he wants first team football before the World Cup. But the real reason why he's gone out of here is because his average couldn't get into the first team, not even above Dyer and Davies, who came out of nowhere after 8 years to secure a first team spot in that defence. And that's the real reason why he's gone. Covered up by, I want to play football for the World Cup.
Yeah, fair point there. And, the haircuts that, as well that he has brought in, to his game, Dave, are certainly not helping his defensive abilities. I'll tell you that. Just quickly as well, though, do you think this is maybe just a temporary stopgap signing, for Rennes after they sold that guy, I think, Naif Aguerd, over to the bubble
Yeah.
blowers? Or do you maybe see this as actually a player that perhaps Rennes are maybe interested in triggering a buy option for?
Nah, look, I think this is a stopgap. I'll be honest, Jack. I don't think they have any hesitation or any what's the word I'm looking for? My fucking mind has gone blank. They're just not
I
going to
think
pay
hesitation
that
is, yeah. I think
They're
they're
just
just,
not
yeah,
going to
they
pay
want to
that
make
much.
sure. They want to make sure, and they want to have that stopgap signing in there. They're going to take their time, and it feels like, especially a club like Rennes, maybe they don't really want to just splash all the cash right away with what they just received, for Garrett. They might take their time. Who knows? They have a really talented academy, over there at that team too. So they could probably, let a kid just come through the ranks and, then, make even further profit. So I see this as a stopgap signing as well, Dave. Moving on to the other bit of news, Antonio Conte hinting at a long-term stay potentially with Tottenham Hotspur. The question that led to it was, came in a press conference and it said, in recent years, the club has struggled to reach the Champions League, but your arrival seems to have changed the DNA of the club. He then responded, it is a good quote here, saying, don't forget that when a team stays in the top four and plays European games, you need to face four competitions in the best possible way. To do this, you need a good squad with good quality. We were trying to do this, but we have just started this process. Last season, I think we worked very well to reach a place in the Champions League. At the same time, I think we exploited problems, United's problems in the last three games. Arsenal were 4 points up on us. And for this reason, we have to continue with the club to build with the players to continue to improve them. This is a young team, and we can work for many years together to improve and fight with the best teams in England and Europe. And this did come from Ali Gold and Football London. Dave, I'll repeat that quote again. I'll repeat that quote again. He's saying this is a young team and a team that we can work with for many years together to improve and fight the best teams in England and Europe. Is Conte hinting at a long-term stay?
Yeah, of course he is, Jack. Look, I think you alluded to it before anybody else even had the bollocks to come out and say it, to be honest with you. But he's looking for a project, Jack. Look, he wants something like Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola has built at the likes of Liverpool and City. What's the point of him coming in here and us bringing in his players if he doesn't want to keep developing on that and building on that in the next transfer window, and developing these players? What's the point of throwing the money at this guy? So for me, I think, look, all last season it probably came to a head where Conte was like, look, I need this, 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 and this. And then the board were like, well, look, unless you give us assurances that you are maybe looking at this long term, we're not going to do the signings. So
yeah,
I do think he probably is hinting at a long-term stay. I would be surprised if there's no contract for him and Harry Kane by the end of this summer to sign. But look, with Antonio Conte, I mean, Jack, he's in the best league in the world. Where are you going to go from England? Yeah, he can go back to Italy. Of course, he loves Italy, but there's nowhere to go. You're in the best league in the world. You've got a team with brand new training complex, brand new stadium, a lot of money there to invest, and they've brought in a hell of a lot of players. We've got world-class players at this club now. It's a bit like what like going to Real Madrid back in the day where they had world-class players. That's what we have now. Why wouldn't you want to sit here and manage this team? Unbelievable.
Absolutely, Dave. I think, the things that I would add is that he kind of wants to, be like, I think it's a good point. He wants to maybe have the power and Jurgen Klopp has, the power that, Pep Guardiola has, the sway that they have at those football clubs. And he sees maybe Spurs as an opportunity to have that sort of power. He already has incredible power and sway, with Tottenham. But if he were to succeed this season and, maybe get top three, perhaps grab a domestic trophy, he'll gain even more power, even more sway at the football club, and they'll have to listen to him even more. He's already seen as sort of a cult hero, amongst the fans as well. I think that, is something kind of, enticing to him. If he's given the right tools, Dave, which so far he kind of has been given the right tools, he will be happy. I think that's, what's gone wrong, in the past with Antonio Conte is, at some stage he wasn't given the right tools. At some stage, maybe the club, decide to kind of, sabotage him or kind of, decide to not really give him exactly what he wanted, or maybe they pulled a fastball on him, and then, he ended up being upset and, he's kind of, someone that's passionate enough, to just, quit on the project. If he feels like the club have quit on the project that he's building, he will quit on them as well. I think it's, two-handed, or it kind of goes both ways when it comes to, him. He's not just going to stick around just for the paycheck. He's going to stick around and make sure that, everything is being built in the way that he wants it, to sort of look. And, it feels like with Spurs, Spurs are in such a vulnerable position, Dave, when it comes to trying to get success, that they will practically bend, to his will, when it comes to everything. And I think he sees that as like an excellent opportunity to settle down, because when you look at it, Dave, I mean, Conte, he's had a bit of, an up and down, he's been around, he's, chopped up and left, has packed his bags and, a whim, or, done it in a moment's notice. I'd like to think, now given a guy that is his age, he's kind of starting to see, the lay of the land when it comes to football. Like you said, the Premier League is the most competitive league, by far, at least when it comes to regular, sort of competitive football. If he wants that sort of football, if he wants that sort of elite level competition, he's going to have to find a club that, he can settle down with, a club that he can build a future with. And I think Spurs are going to give him a lot of the tools, as well as give him a lot of the autonomy to be able to do it. And I think that's an important word there. Like, they'll give him, the range and the freedom to be able to do what he wants. And that's what Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp has. That's what he wants.
And I will add, like, some people say, oh, he doesn't stick around for more than 2-3 seasons. Look, Chelsea sacked him after winning the league because, he wanted back and they didn't want to back him. They thought they had a good enough squad. He left Inter Milan purely because the money was there. The money wasn't there. They couldn't finish the project that he started. Yeah. And he could see Juventus willing to go and buy again. AC Milan coming to the fore. And he wasn't just going to sit around and accept failure or mediocrity while watching them teams surpass him. So, look, at Tottenham Hotspur, I think, look, if you look at it, you look at the likes of Liverpool and City, being there, Chelsea, all being in and around the Champions League final the last few years, getting to the semi-finals and finals. The Premier League is where it's at. And if he wants that sort of backing, Jack, a Premier League club is the club that can actually give it to season in, season out. And if you look at Tottenham, he sort of come in here, Jack, if we're being honest, with a blank canvas. Look, he's already shown to us what he can do with the bare minimum and with a lot of crap. And I'm sure he looks at, especially with the way the squad was, as a blank canvas. I can get rid of this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and I can bring in these players, and then I can form my team. And for me, I think he's absolutely really enjoying himself at Spurs. And when you see the passion of the guy's celebrations on the sidelines and stuff like that, you just look at him and you're like, yeah, he's here to stay. The fact that he's brought the club, the board, the fans, the players, and the management team all as one. He's building something special here. He's building what Klopp has at Liverpool. He's building what Simeone has at Atletico Madrid, where everyone follows this guy. And I can't wait to see what he does. But look, it does come down to us. We still have to keep backing him. We can't just turn off the money after this summer and say, oh, well, we've backed the project. We've got to go again in January. If he feels he needs to go, we've got to go again next summer. So, look, we'll wait and see. But all the signs are very, very positive, and it's what we wanted, because, mark my words, once Conte goes, there's going to be a massive, massive drop-off for a couple of years. It's going to be the same with Liverpool when Klopp leaves, the same with City when Guardiola leaves. These top guys, because they have everybody doing everything, jump, like, saying jump, how high, when they leave, there's inevitably going to be a drop-off because it's so demanding. So the longer we keep Conte here, the better. And I think the longer the board keep Conte here, the better, because they can't afford to have Conte go and then a drop-off in performances or results because of the demands that Conte have put in them. The drop-off would be inevitable. And then the fans are back on their back. So it's important that the board actually back Conte and keep him here for quite some time. And all he wants, like you said, Jack, is what Guardiola and Klopp have. If I want a player, go and get me that player. If I want to sell a player, get that player out the door. It's all he's asking.
Dave, can you give, Sebas, a good send-off? He's headed off to London tomorrow, Sebas Bolfez, from New York. He's going to be representing us, strong out there. And I think, I'm not sure what game he's going for. Maybe he is going for the Southampton game, first game of the season. That would be insane, Sebas, absolute legend. Give him the send-off, Dave. Maybe wish him a bit of luck.
Yeah, look, Sebas, my man, go and enjoy yourself, brother. I'll be honest, look, London is a very good city. It's a very nice city. There is plenty to do, plenty of places to eat. You will not be stuck to pass time up until the Spurs game. But look, if you're over there early, try and get a stadium tour. Try and get the skywalk done. Look, a lot of people assure me that it's absolutely, it's quality. It's quality. And do not be afraid of, leave you out people telling you, not to do it or whatever else. Because I've seen people that I've seen on the internet, and I'm not talking about YouTube, but even on Twitter, people that are leaving out, and they're still doing the likes of the Sky Tour or the Skywalk and the Stadium Tour and everything else. So don't be afraid to go and do it, my man. Enjoy this club. We're going places this season, and enjoy the game and sing your heart out. You're only there once, so make sure you make use of it.
Absolute legend, Sebas. He's going to Southampton. Sing your heart out, my man. Sing your heart out and enjoy it, brother. Absolutely enjoy it. Big up, Sebas. Everybody, wish him luck. Wish him well. Member of the Harris Army is going to be out there. Confirmed member of the Harris Army is going to be out there singing them loud. He's going to be telling Moon Boots what to do. Telling him where to pass, telling him to chill out. Whatnot. It's going to be beautiful. Big up, Sebas. Dark Sun G saying Jose came in mid-season, got Europa League. Conte came in mid-season, got Champions League. The only difference is Bentancur, Kuti, and Kulusevski. It shows who is more league. Conte leaves if his aces are sold. I mean, yeah, I don't think, Romero, I think, ended up getting sold. I think Conte actually probably gets sold. I think Conte secretly really loves, Romero and really relies on Romero. Dark Sun G. Same thing goes with Kane. We know that there are a lot of things that could make Conte, pack up and leave. You're absolutely right. But Dave, maybe Conte, maybe a slightly more elite than Jose, in what he achieved.
Say that again, Jack.
Conte slightly more elite Conte slightly more elite than Jose, considering what he achieved, mid-season. That's what Dark Sun G's saying.
Where they're at now, yes. I think Conte is definitely more elite than Jose Mourinho. Look, Jose Mourinho is on the slide. His sort of way of managing, I'm not going to say it's outdated because I don't believe it's outdated. I just believe that, he's not at Chelsea where everyone's going to do everything his way because he's been there so long. So he has to kind of learn to develop that culture sort of thing. But look, when you're looking at Conte, I think you look at Conte's record over the last few seasons, the amount of trophies that this guy has won, the fact that he can get all these world-class players singing off the same hymn sheet, Kane and Son, straight away. Okay, what do you want me to do? We'll do it. And you look at what maybe Jose had to work with when he went into Roma and what Conte had to work with when he came in at Tottenham. I mean, he was basically working with Jose Mourinho scraps. Now, Jose Mourinho couldn't get us Champions League football, but Conte did. So for me, that makes Conte elite. And he was working with more or less same sort of players, to be honest. In fact, but do you know what it was about
during
Conte?
A more toxic time period as well. I think he picked up the team during a more toxic time period as well.
Do you know what it was about Conte? He had the bollocks to say, okay, let's also end on Bailey Alley. Yeah, I know we pay big money. I know you're on big money. No fans like you. But you're out of here. You're causing me trouble. Jose Mourinho didn't do that. And anytime Jose wanted to do something like that, the fans were on his back. And the reason why that happens is because it's everything that's gone before with Jose Mourinho. But when Conte does it, everyone's behind it. And I absolutely love that. That's the difference between the men.
Great point, Dark Sundry. Great question as well. Sebas just responding to you, Dave, saying, I'm doing all of that, Dave. I don't get the chance to be there every weekend. So believe me, I'm going to enjoy all of that. Thanks, brothers. Big up, Sebas. He's doing the stadium tour. He's doing the skywalk. He's probably going to even be walking out carrying the match ball, diving off the skywalk, to do like a big, with the third kit as well, with the away kit, Sebas. You could use it, kind of, what is it, paraglide, into the stadium, Sebas, and, drop the match ball. Big up, brother. Hopefully
no, look, you're only there once. It's a trip of a
in your life.
So while you're there, do absolutely everything you can. Look, it's a different story for people that can go to games every week or every home game. They don't need to do all that. But for someone that's coming over, and spending big money to be there, and it's once in a lifetime trip, and it's expensive to get there, do as much as you can there and enjoy it and make memories, my man. What I will say to you is, try and record a lot of what you're doing. Jack didn't want to record anything for the West Ham game, and he's now glad he's got that match day vlog.
Good point, Dave.
So, make sure you record it as well.
Big up. Remember that, Sebas. Remember that, brother. Adrian Chia saying, big up, lads. In fairness, Jose Mourinho got us to a cup final. He certainly did, and probably was going to win us that cup final because he always has Pep, rattled when it comes to cup finals, Adrian. He definitely would have at least given us a better shot, and he probably wouldn't have started Harry Winks. I'll tell you that, Adrian Chia. I definitely would have gone with a different midfield than that. But yeah, it's all in the past now, Adrian. It's all in the past. It's all under the bridge. It's all water under the Jose bridge.
Yeah, look, don't get me wrong. I don't think Jose was given the right tools to succeed here. You even look at the 7 players we brought in under him: Rodon, Doherty, Session, Joe Hart. And you look at the players that we're bringing in now for Conte. If we're being honest, we didn't actually give Jose Mourinho a chance to succeed. The reason why Jose was brought in here is because he's known for his defensive football. When they sacked Pochettino, the biggest problem was they could not keep the ball out of the net. Shocker, actually, that we're still having these defensive problems today with some of these same defenders. But the reason why Pochettino got sacked is because it's not because we couldn't score goals. We couldn't keep them out, and it was costing us points. So then we brought in Jose Mourinho thinking, oh, yeah, he'll be able to shore up that defense, and then we can get back to where we were. Shock. Didn't happen. But yet people still tell me we don't need defenders.
Big up, Adrian. Appreciate the support, brother. And hopefully we get to a cup final and actually get it done this time. And hopefully the manager doesn't get sacked right beforehand. Last two kind of bit of news here. Conte's training regimen was, asked about recently. And, he had a pretty hilarious answer, for it when asked on, the training sessions. He was asked, your training sessions look so intensive. Can you talk us through why you do that? He said, maybe for you, it is intensive training. For me, it's normal training. I used to have these type of training sessions in the past when I was a player and when I was a coach. Maybe it was strange for you or for the people that think that the players go out the pitch just to have fun. Dave, any just, quick thoughts on that? I think it's, quite hilarious how nonchalant, he's been whenever being asked, about his training, sort of questions. He seems actually quite indifferent, whenever being asked these questions. He's like, next question, please.
It shows how elite he is, that everyone, we're all sitting here like, oh my God, Conte, the training you're doing, the team you're putting these boys through. And he's just sitting there. He's like, guys, look, stop being losers. I'm used to winning. This is natural. This is normal. This is what winners do, And it's kind of like he's trying to develop that winning culture into us. So from what I take from that is we now have to expect that as just normal, Jack. Not something out of the ordinary. Look what he's doing. It's groundbreaking because I've listened. Look, everyone knows I listen to a lot of podcasts about players, ex-players and stuff. And some of them said, even way back in the day, Jack, going over to Italy, everything was different. The diets, the training, everything else completely different. And look, it is normal for Conte. At the end of the day, Jack, I said it last night. If you want to win a league, not only do you need to have quality, but you have to be super fit. And with being super fit, you'll outrun everybody. So if the game gets tough, you're there. If it physically gets tough, you're there. But also, it keeps up here working quicker than anybody else is out there. So I wouldn't be surprised if it is normal for him. And look, I remember this guy as a player, Jack. He was absolutely crazy. Fit as a fiddle as well. And look, it's about time we started normalizing it rather than looking at it like something special. If we want to be winners, this is what winners do.
Absolutely. And then last bit of news here, everybody. Kulusevski apparently, thinks he's a number 10, when being asked, in that situation. When being asked, you're a very versatile player. What do you believe is your best position, the one you can produce the most from? He said, it's a very good question. I've been thinking about this all of my whole life. I always thought of me as being a number 10. I still think I am, but my best results as a football player have always come from me being a right winger. So I don't know. In the future, we will see where I'll be. Yeah, I can probably play right wing back too. It's football. You want to help a good team. You want to play, enjoy, work hard, and have fun. Kulusevski is seeing himself as a number 10, Dave. And, while you're answering that question, everybody, I am about to put the link into the community section for all of the fan show members, everybody. So do have a look out for that one. Everybody with the fan show membership, I'm putting in the link for you guys to come on, have your say on whatever it is you guys want to talk about, where you might think Spurs will finish, how you think the Southampton game will go. Maybe you have some interest in this Jose thing coming up. But Dave Kulusevski, he thinks of himself as more a number 10, but he realizes that maybe he's had better results as a right winger.
Yeah, look, Jack, I think you look at the size of him, he's a big, strong lad. He probably could play number 10, Jack. Nice, big, strong lad. Very good on the ball. But look, for me, when I look at him, he is better on that right-hand side. Now, I think where he probably has doubts in his mind is because he knows he's very, very left-footed. So he's always looking to cut inside on that left. And when he cuts in, it opens up the goal for him, opens up unique crossing angles that wouldn't be open to him if he was right-footed playing on the right-hand side. So it probably does help in terms of his numbers. But Jack, when I watched him against Norwich, I believe he was kind of the focal point for a couple of the attacks. And he can't play there. I've seen this guy take some nice touches there. And what was one of the moves, Jack, where he done like this spin turn in behind and then connect against Norwich with the ball. He can definitely play there. Look, he's one of these players that can play, in my opinion, anywhere across that front three, right, left, or up front. I think he has that sort of natural ability. But for me, right now, bide your time on the wing. And if, develop yourself out there, get unbelievable numbers. Because you have to remember, Ronaldo started off out there, and then later on in his career moved up top. And look at the numbers he was getting. I think Kulusevski will probably end up doing something similar, where he'll start out on the wings, and the older he gets, the more he'll develop into that sort of that number 10, someone that is playing in the middle rather than out wide. And he's definitely capable of getting them goals. He's
Dave, over at Parma, he was playing as a number 10, and that's kind of where he first came onto the scene, as a number 10 through the middle. It does kind of make me think, could maybe Kulusevski? I know we're taking looks at Zaniolo, we're taking looks at James Maddison, but we do have a few players that could actually do a job playing through the middle and could actually give us something that we're looking for. Maybe they can play that decent pass. Maybe they can offer us something that we'd be surprised by. And Kulusevski, I think, could certainly be one, playing through the middle. Dave, like I said, done it before with Parma, where he first kind of got noticed. And, Kane, we all know, can, drop into the midfield as well. He can be a number 10. We've seen the likes of, I think, Brian Hill, do it before under Nuno. So instead of maybe going for Zaniolo, last question here, Dave, and we're going to bring on the fans here. Instead of maybe, going after Zaniolo, could you maybe consider having 3 different sort of hybrid creative midfielders? Brian Hill, Kane, Kulusevski?
Look, if we're not going to buy one, I think it's definitely worth keeping Brian Hill and Harry Kane around. Look, for this season, I'd rather just keep Kulusevski out on the right rather than trying to, develop him in as a number 10, because you got Harry Kane to do that. You can just drop Harry Kane in there to do that. So there's no need for Kulusevski to do it straight away, in my opinion, Like I said, just bide your time out wide, keep producing the numbers, and then eventually, if you're good enough, you'll end up working your way into the middle where you want to be.
Absolutely. But Dave, we already have a Godfather, waiting in the background, waiting to give his thoughts on it. Should we bring him on?
Yeah, let's get him on. Let's get the guests on.
All right, we're bringing on Philip Brady, the Godfather. Philip, how you keeping today?
How are you, lads? How are you? I'm just relaxing.
All good over here
today.
Just chilling out today. What do you make of some of the news here, Philip? We've got loads. I mean, look, we'll start off with Kulusevski maybe thinking he's a number 10 and then work our way back to Conte.
Yeah. Well, I suppose the fact that he's a left footer playing on the right, he's always going to work his way centrally.
Yeah.
Before delivering his passes. So possibly. Like I heard you mention we have 3 options: Harry Kane, Kulusevski, and Brian Hill. I don't know. I maybe I'm old fashioned, but I think I'd like to see a dedicated number 10 like Maddison coming in.
Yeah. Traditional. Yeah.
Traditional. So whether that's going to happen, like I heard yesterday, there was supposed to be a bid gone in for him, but again, that could have been just paper talk,
Well, the paper seems to be telling us, Philip, that we're more in for, Zaniolo maybe, or at least we have a better chance of signing Zaniolo than maybe we have a chance of signing James Maddison. And the reason I'm thinking, Philip, is because Leicester City, they're doing their business so late. Will they really sign Tielemans and James Maddison at the end of the window? Their 2 most important players.
What do you mean, get rid of it? Sell the 2 of them?
Yeah, that's what it seems like might be unlikely. They might not sell both, right before the season starts, sell James Maddison and Tielemans.
Well, it strikes me Leicester must be in some sort of financial distress if they have to do that.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, I mean, can you imagine if Spurs sold Harry Kane and Heung-min Son just before the window ended? We would not be pleased. So, I say the Leicester fans are feeling the same way at the moment. I don't know. I mean, Zaniolo possibly is a better option, maybe. But then again, with his cruciate problems, you're buying into a guy that's got issues with injury. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. It's all up in the lap of the gods. Like, what have we got now? We've got 35 days left. of the
Yeah.
transfer window. So I can see our business being done late. Now we've done the business early, but I think anything else that's going to happen isn't going to happen for the next 3 or 4 weeks. I know it's not ideal, but I can see that happening. They're going to be waiting to see how other clubs buy, how other clubs are rotating their squads, and we'll probably get somebody that's been pushed out of the fringes by those purchases.
And
So
I swear, just quickly, I think where we're at right now, we don't need to buy someone that's versatile that can play, in loads of different positions. We can afford to go out, and especially if you want to go for a league or a cup, you've got to go and get that specialized player in that position, someone who's used to playing that week in, week out, like a Madison, because that's like rather than bringing in a Gill or a Kulusevski in there, or even a Zaniolo to kind of drop in there. You're taking a risk, whereas someone like Madison knows exactly what he's doing. And for me, that would be the difference, having that specialized player there rather than someone that you're looking to develop. Right now, with Conte, how serious are you? Are you going to get a player that you want to be versatile, or are you going to get a specialist? I'll be back in just 1 second there, guys.
Yeah,
No
I
problem.
think the specialist is needed, really. We have enough versatility in the squad, really. I think we do need someone to replace Christian Eriksen, which hasn't been done yet. So we'll wait and see. If it happens, it happens. Certainly, if I was James Maddison and I had the lure of Champions League football and working under Conte, then I heard rumours too that his relationship with Brendan Rodgers isn't the best either. So that might be another reason why he wants to get out.
Could be, actually.
We'll see.
Could be the reasoning.
Yeah. Then again, it's there's so much politics and so much but behind the scenes stuff going on that we never hear about, really. I'd love to be a fly on the wall on some of these meetings with the agents to see what actually does go on. What players actually think of their clubs and think of their managers.
Behind the curtains, definitely.
I said there'd be a few surprises now,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Philip, did you see? Yeah. Sorry, Dave.
No. Go on.
Philip, I don't know if you can keep talking about Kulusevski, but I feel like, you might be interested in, how, what Conte thought of, the questions, about his intensive training methods. He said, maybe for you, it's intensive training. For me, it's just normal training. He seems to just nonchalantly pass off any questions, about, his training methods, from the British media.
Yeah, he's right. He's dead right. He's dead right. Because listen, if you listen to TalkSport, which I don't, but you hear reports coming back, saying that the certain players like Gabi Bonglahor, that well-known failure, criticizing Conte's training methods and criticizing the fact that we haven't done X, Y, and Z the way he would have done it. So what? Conte has got where he is today by being his own man. He's doing what he wants to do, and bugger the rest of them. He wants to do what he's doing, and I love that. Because you don't want a manager that bows down to the first protest that the training is too hard and he reduces the intensity of it. That's defeating the purpose of it. Conte has come in there to a squad that was the least fit in the Premiership and made them one of the fittest in the space of 3 months. And that's
Certainly
why I think
don't want a manager listen to Gabi, I'll tell you that.
No.
But do you know what I love about it? Before, all these players would have come out complaining. They've done it after Pochettino left. Oh, too hard. Do you hear any of it now?
No, they know what the end result. They won a one-way ticket to the bench.
Yeah, but that's the difference between having a manager who has actually a say in the club rather than Pochettino. As much as Pochettino done for us, and I'm not knocking the guy, but he didn't have a say, really. He was told, look, this is your squad, work with it. That's why he came out with them quotes, I'm a coach, not a manager. Whereas Conte is actually a manager, so he can afford to say, okay, you want to go and cry to Alistair Gold? No problem. Well, then go and move in with him because you're not playing for Tottenham anymore. You're now going to be his personal assistant. And that's what I fucking love about it. No more of these whingy babies crying about training. Get out there and do it. You want to be a champion? You fucking run your nuts off.
You know something? Daniel Levy might be the chairman in name only of Spurs. The person that's running Tottenham Hotspur at the moment, from top to bottom, is Antonio Conte.
Yeah, he absolutely really is. He wants the power. He wants all the sway.
Not only
we were talking about this earlier.
He knows that he's holding all the aces. Because if he walks, because Levy doesn't agree with him or doesn't back him, He knows there's only going to be one loser in that battle, and it's not going to be Antonio Conte. It's going to be Levy.
It's almost like everything
Yeah.
crumbles. It's like Jenga or something, everything kind of crumbles the moment that, Conte leaves, all probably will fall apart. But, hence why we probably should talk about this then, Philip, Antonio Conte potentially hinting at a long-term stay, kind of the end part of that quote when, being asked, about maybe his expectations, for next season. He said, "This is a young team and we can work for many years together to improve and fight with the best teams in England and in Europe." Is he hinting at a long-term stay here, or are we getting ahead of ourselves?
I certainly hope so. He's been a bit cryptic, all right, but nothing would give me greater pleasure than see Antonio Conte signing a 3 or a 5 year contract. Spurs.
Yeah.
Then we would have some certainty. But then again, is he going to do that? Because he knows if he's on a shortish term contract, he knows he's keeping Levy on a string.
Yeah.
Whereas he signs a long-term contract, Levy goes back into his comfort zone again, thinking I have him. So maybe there's a bit of, there's a bit of politics going on here, a lot of politics going on.
So let me ask
Just
you
a bunch
then,
of 1 year extensions he'll go for.
let me ask you then, Philip, if you were in Conte's shoes, what would you do, knowing that you maybe are looking at staying here long term, but you don't want to hand the power back? So what would you do if you were in his shoes then? How would you do it?
I do a 12-month extension each time.
I thought Jack was messing when he said that.
No, I'm serious. As you said, long-term contracts tend to get people in the comfort zone, and I don't think Conte would be like that. But as I said, he gives Levy he could put Levy into the comfort zone, thinking I've got him for 5 years, and to be honest with you, Antonio Conte will not be with Spurs in 5 years. I very much doubt it. To be realistic about it. But if we can get him for the next 2 to 3 years till he molds that team into his own image, we will be very successful. And then he'll probably think my job here is done, and he'll move on. And as long as a successor coming along behind him in his own image, then we'll be fine. But make sure he stays there in the meantime. Don't upset him that he walks before the end of next season.
And what I'd add to that, I think, look, once Conte does leave, I think we'll have the quality of players there for the next guy to come in and be able to continue on what he's doing, or at least try and, take it on to the next level. I think the quality of players will be there for the guy to work with, but he's going to have to be another strong guy like Conte. But Philip, Joe Rodon on his way out, thank God, on his way to France. Does that now mean we are bringing in a centre-back before the window closes?
You would hope so. Again, I don't think we're going to sell a centre-back without somebody in the pipeline to come in and replace him. I think that's a good sign. It's a good move for Joe Rodon anyway. I don't think he was ever going to really make the grade at Spurs, even good enough as he is. But no, I hopefully now, I still haven't given up on Bastoni. I'm still hoping to God some miracle happens there that we get him. Unlikely, but you never know. But obviously there could be someone else coming in the background. We don't really, we haven't really heard about. The Paratici has been grooming and keeping a tab on. So we
very true. Very, very true. One thing I wouldn't be surprised to do is see us tie up this the deal for this Israeli guy we were linked with that played in that under whatever his World Cup a few weeks ago. I'd suppose we probably might tie that up out there. But Philip, looking at this squad now, right, going into the season, do you feel we have enough to be able to do what Conte wants to do, which is challenge for a league title? I know some fans are going to call me crazy. We're never going to win the league title. But that's what Conte is here to do. That's what Conte wants to do, and that's what Conte believes he can do. Yeah. Do we have enough right throughout this squad in every single position and enough depth to be able to make it happen, or what areas do you think are lacking?
If we get another centre-back, right, which I think we will do, and if we get an attacking midfielder, a number 10 type player in, then we've got players with double cover in every position almost, really. And I think we will challenge. I had a call with a friend of mine this morning. He's a fervent Manchester United fan who spent the last 5 years slagging me off about Spurs, right? This morning, he says, something? Spurs are going to challenge for the title this season. I said they might not win it because Manchester City are practically unbeatable, I think, at the moment with their squad. But he says Spurs will challenge. It'll be like back in 15-16 when we challenged Chelsea or challenged Leicester, but didn't Conte or Poch didn't get the backing to actually push on and win that title. Do I think we can do it again this year? I think Chelsea are going to struggle. I think we're going to finish above Chelsea. I think their manager is becoming a little bit of an embarrassment to them. And
He's starting to cry a little, isn't he?
Yeah. He wants to start that. You know, you're in trouble. And I think that Liverpool, Man City are the teams that we have to watch. Man United, I don't think are going to be there this season. Maybe next season. Arsenal, not even going to mention them. Chelsea, you heard what I'm going to say. So I think we're going to finish in the top 3. That's what I'm going to say. And we're going to challenge the whole way down the line.
Yeah, look, I hope so. Do you know what? I do think we'll challenge, but I think the difference between challenging and getting over the line is that sort of centre-back, or is improving that area of defence. But speaking of Arsenal, Philip, I watched the clip from that All or Nothing, and it was Mikel Arteta trying to do this big speech and get the boys pumped. I'm not messing. I last 20 seconds and I fell asleep, you know. Jack had to ring me to wake up for this show, you know. I watched it right beforehand. He had to ring me. He's like, Dave. I'm like, look, Jack, Arteta's after put me to sleep. It's an absolute joke. And by the way, everybody, make sure you avoid Prime, the hydration drink. New sponsors of Arsenal. They love Prime, Amazon Prime, and now the hydration drink. So make sure you avoid that at all costs. But, Philip, is there anything that you would like to talk about, my man? Anything you have on your mind that you want to get off?
No, we're a week away from the start of probably the most anticipated season we've had for a long, long time. I think we're going to be, we're going to be what's what I'm looking for here? We're going to be the team that annoys people this season. We're going to annoy Sky Sports, which I think is absolutely fabulous. You know, great. We're going to get up people's noses. We're a very physical team this season. Look at the size of the players we've got now. And this whole thing about lads, it's Tottenham, that has been consigned to the rubbish dump of history from now on. Because it'll be said now, lads, it's Tottenham in a different format this time. They'll be scared stiff of Tottenham. You know. Yeah. But we need to get off to a good start. And that, by mean that, I mean to go to Stamford Bridge on the second game and bury that hoodoo that we have down there.
Yeah.
That was the low point of last season for me, losing those 3 games to Chelsea, virtually running up the white flag and not even scoring a goal. We need to go back and do what the Dele Alli and Christian Eriksen team did a few years ago, winning 3-2 there or 3-1, whatever it was. Yeah. Put Chelsea in their box early. Send down a statement to the rest of the league. This Spurs team had to be reckoned with this season. And we're going to have a good season. We're going to have an excellent season. We'll finish above Chelsea. Yes, definitely.
I think we will as well. I agree. I think, look, all signs are they got slapped 4-0 by Arsenal during preseason Chelsea. So, they're going to find it hard to recover from that. And Thomas Titty was complaining about Thomas the Tank Engine. He was complaining about the fucking intensity and everything else like that. They must have ran out of coal to keep the steam train going. But look, Philip, anything from Sky Sports that's pissed you off lately? I always love checking in and seeing if there's anything from any of these media companies that has annoyed you of late.
What's this? Darren Bent's pissed me off big time. Another wannabe failure at Spurs, thinking he's come back now and, think he can make a complaint. He was complaining about the training methods as well, who else was there?
Guy wouldn't hit a barn door. Harry Redknapp disgraced him in an interview. Idiot.
But he told Darren Bent that what's Harry Redknapp's wife's name? Anyway, she was a better footballer than Darren Bent was. So, No, it haven't really annoyed me yet. They probably will when I see the pre-season stuff coming up next week when Paul Merson starts spouting, and how that guy is still on he's stealing a living from Starty because he's yesterday's man big time, No, the only pundit I like to listen to is really Roy Keane because you know what you're going to get there. Straight down, So, no. I think next week I'll probably have a completely different view when I watched a bit of the pre-season build-up, But I hope there's a good game against Roma tomorrow and that Jose isn't laying any minefields for us,
Yeah, definitely not.
He does have a point to prove there, We shouldn't have sacked him and all this sort of thing, But looking forward to the match tomorrow. I'd say it'll be a good one.
What do you want to see from this last preseason game, Philip? Maybe last question. What do you want to see from this preseason game going into the season? Because for all these people that told me all the other ones don't matter, this one certainly fucking matters. First game before the season starts.
Well, normally I would say preseason games don't really matter because you're building up fitness. And the first game in Korea didn't really matter. That was only a fitness thing. Seville mattered because they're a serious challenger in Europe. Roma matter because they are Roma and managed by Jose Mourinho. Rangers matter because you go up to Scotland as an English team and you expect a battle.
Yeah.
And we matched the intensity of Rangers. We put them in their box a wee bit last week. So we can do the same tomorrow by beating a very good, strong Roma team. That's a good pre-season. It's not like we used to do in the past. We go out and play Limerick or Cork City in the pre-season, which is basically just a kickabout. And that's no disrespect to the Irish League because the two teams did brilliantly last night in getting through. In fact, a good mate of mine is involved with St. Pat's and he was out at the game in Slovenia. So fair dues, they did very well. So this is a real pre-season, and if we can go through the pre-season unbeaten, what a way to confidence builder for the start of next week.
It'd be a great confidence builder. It'd be a great confidence builder. But look, Philip, make sure you come and speak to us Monday because we want to find out what your season expectations are. We want to find out who you're predicting Golden Boot winner is, Young Player of the Year, who you think it will be. So make sure you come and speak to us Monday, my man.
Will do.
Catch Philip.
Always love chatting to you. You always put a smile on my face and make me laugh. We'll see you again soon, brother.
See ya. All the best.
Come on, you Spurs.
Right. Come on, you Spurs.
Oh, everyone. Big up,
Philip.
He's an absolute
Show the
legend.
Godfather some love.
He cracks me up, so he does. What a guy. I love speaking to him. We have a few super chats to get to. We will get onto them here, and then we will crack on and get on the next guest. THFC Till I Dice was band back together. Come on, you Spurs. We have back, my man. The band is back together. Big up, Dermot, my man. Big yourself
Appreciate
up.
you, brother.
John Langford
becoming a Flat Cap member. Becoming a Flat Cap member, John is. Big up, brother. Welcome to the Flat Cap Army. You're already in it, but it's good to have you, official, my man. It's good to see you official, especially with that beautiful badge alongside the name, Dave. Yeah. John Langford with that badge alongside the name. Looks nice, looks proper.
And I will say to everybody else out there, if you want to be like John, if you're jealous like John and you want that badge, which ideally we would like to see everybody with that badge beside their name, it'd be absolutely unbelievable. And trust me, it's cheaper than Netflix, Amazon. You don't get any Arsenal or nothing. It's pure Spurs content. $1.99 a month is the cheapest. Why not get it, guys, and help support this channel? Big yourselves up.
Dark Sun G saying if Conte wants to leave, he would have said a few years, not many years together. Very good distinction there, Dark Sun G. Very good distinction. He would have said, we could have challenged for a few years, but he did say many. Very good point there, Dark Sun G. And I'm pretty sure, he would have said, fewer, or he would have said less, if he felt that way. Good point.
I love how intelligent Dark Sun G could be, because for me, I read a quote and I'll usually take it on its face value, whereas Dark Sun G is able to distinguish between little things and everything. I love it. Big yourself up, brother. Distinguish, by the way, is my new word today out of the dictionary.
Dermot with the super sticker, and it's the big number one pointing up to the sky, and that's where he thinks we're finishing in the table, Dave, is number one, up at the top of the table. Big up, Dermot.
Hopefully Harry Kane's first goal celebration as well as this number one. Love it. Big up, Dermotron.
OG Low becoming, I believe, a fan show member. OG Low, if you want to come on today, the link is in your community section. If you feel like, today's not for you, feel free to come on Monday for my man. There's a nice warm seat, like Dave said, getting your league predictions, getting, your golden boot, all that good kind of Premier League as well as Spurs kind of action, my man. So hopefully you could join us Monday. Appreciate it, OG Low.
Big up, OG.
And then Dark Sun G saying Tuchel got lucky in his first season, ending fourth because of Mason. Spurs, not an elite manager, but Mason is the one that gave it to him. It's now time for his downfall, which equals the Blues' downfall. Thomas Tuchel getting a bit lucky, maybe with how poor, the rest of the table was that one season, Dave. With Leicester City, kind of bottling it at one stage. Spurs were pretty woeful. Arsenal were pretty woeful. Maybe Thomas Tuchel did get a bit lucky.
Look, I actually rate Thomas Tuchel as a manager.
I do too.
I actually do rate him. He's not doing himself any favors with what's going on at Chelsea at the minute. Look, they got Romelu Lukaku. He didn't use him to the best that he could. You'd probably say that's probably bad management. What's the point of sanctioning or spending that money on a guy like Big Rom and not play to the best of his abilities, which is put balls into the box, let him go and attack it. Look, I do think Thomas Tuchel is a good manager. They just don't have any strikers. I mean, that other little idiot, Teeny Weeny, the German sausage, he would get a barn door with a fucking bulldozer, So, for me, Look, I don't think he's been helped by the lack of strikers, but I do think he's a good manager. But at the end of the day, like I said, Thomas the Tank Engine is running out of coal, my man, to keep the steam train on the tracks. And look, it's not healthy there whatsoever. There's a couple of clubs I'm looking at. Arsenal start off bad, Arteta will be sacked. Chelsea start off bad, Thomas Tuchel will be gone. Leicester City as well. But Brendan Rodgers came out, I think it was February. And basically, the reason why they end up having such a poor run in the league is because he basically come out and said, look, this squad needs an overhaul. Players have stopped trying this, that, and the other. So, again, they haven't signed anybody, and they have to sell before they sign. So, I mean, there's a few managers I'm looking at that maybe could be sacked nice and early this season. And thank God it's not Arsenal once.
Big predictions. Love it. And Dark Sun G, I think Dave once did say that Tuchel is like a secret or maybe closeted sort of Spurs fan as well. So perhaps he's, doing us a favor and, kind of just crumbling Chelsea from the inside, kind of leaving it, at a best for us to, be able to surpass them. Who knows? Inside theory. Big up, Dark Sun G. Really appreciate it. Moving on to the next guest, a very familiar face here, and it is Kuva 99.
Big up, lads.
Kuva.
Good. Sorry, Dave.
Oh, no, sorry. It's my bad. I'm out of touch this week, Kuva. Just quickly, John Langford, he says, thank you, David and Jack, giving us all up-to-date info. I'm 65, so all this is new to me. I'm loving it. Well, John, age is no matter here, my man. As you can see, Philip had grey hairs. Kuva has grey hairs. I'm going that way as well. So, I mean, it's the grey-haired gang, so make sure you get on and speak to us, my man. Age is only a number. It's all about coming on and getting involved, brother. Big yourself up. Sorry,
it's not grey hair, Dave. It's silverware.
Kuva's that starved of silverware. He has to create his own. I love it.
Absolutely. It's the transfer window. We're still on that, aren't we? So let's talk about it. I think the Rodon move out makes a lot of sense because he was going nowhere with us. But I've always maintained it's simple sense, common sense, isn't it? Don't keep players if you're not going to be playing them. It's bad for them. It's bad for yourselves. The fact we might even get a profit out of him was quite remarkable considering the game time.
He hasn't played in like 3 years.
Yeah, there's some things you criticise Levy for, and then he suddenly pulls like that sort of transfer going out of the window, and you think, Christ, what is it? What is it about him? There's something doesn't add up really.
Actually, I think it's like the people when he's working with somebody for the first time, Kuva, it's like, when you don't know, kind of the tactics of Levy, the tactics of Paratici, you've never dealt with them before, maybe you do get kind of stung, like you can, just walk yourself into like a bit of a Venus flytrap situation where then you're just like, oh, like you want Joe Rodon? Yeah, sure. Take him. But maybe 20 million, but like,
I've got a
just kind of sneak that in.
I got a question for the two of you, actually. That 20 million that's inserted in the clause. Now, Daniel Levy has had history of this before where he's able to get good money for our players going out the door. But do you put that down to Daniel Levy or Paratici? Who actually gets the credit for this sort of stuff on the outgoings?
It seems like they're both capable of this sort of deal. Like this has both of their kind of paws, or their fingerprints on it. Because you could see Paratici did the same thing with Dele Alli, right? Where he negotiated that Dele Alli move to be like so horrible for Everton. Like it really was. It's turned to the situation where even they have to consider letting go of Dele Alli if they really don't think that he's actually worth keeping around, for the future. So I think that one had, the Paratici scheme on it. But I don't know. Like, I think they're both fully capable of this deal. Maybe it was just kind of them working together on it. I don't know.
Kuva?
Yeah, I think it's. If I was guessing, I'd say they probably decided we've got to divide up this workload between us. You go over to Italy, do your bit. I'll deal with the rest, says Levy. Perhaps that's just it. We're in the clock is ticking. We need some more transfers in to turn this promising window into something really good. If we were to land a wing back or two, obviously a centre back, and that attacking sort of spark that perhaps we're missing at the moment, a little bit of variety up front, we could be instead of looking to solidify this 4th place or even just pushing 3rd place, and we're looking around at Chelsea, we're looking nervously down to see what Arsenal are doing. If we get in the right 2 or 3 players now, we could be just looking upwards and thinking they're within reach. Liverpool have got some big changes they've made. I mean, Darwin Núñez is clearly erratic at best, isn't he? He's a bit of an unknown quantity. He might score 4, he might miss 5. So we're going to have to be in this position where we can capitalise on any slip up. And I don't think anybody's under any illusion that Man City are the team to really catch now. I think even Liverpool are secondary to them at the moment. They don't have any weaknesses. They've just signed 2 world-class strikers and reinforced their midfield as well. And then sold some of the cast-offs to practically make their money back, haven't they? It's ridiculous window City have had. So keep saying this on all the channels. We've got Conte now. If we are not going for it, then why have we got him? That now is the time. If we can just get these last 2 or 3 much-needed transfers done, I mean, we're talking the quality of like Milinkovic-Savic, we're talking Zaniolo. People have been saying James Maddison, which I find unlikely, but he would be another option. If we're looking at Skriniar, even somebody in the comments earlier, they mentioned like Badiashile as at Monaco. He's another talented centre-back. There are plenty of them out there. It's just a case of getting this quality in now. If we can get 2, 3, even better 4 players in and really push the boat out, perhaps then we do call this the Conte effect. Then it is the Paratici driving force behind things.
Definitely.
The 2 of them in tandem, getting Levy to change his ways, which he seems to be doing so far. I think the Jed Spence kind of suggests, though, that it's not going to be entirely Conte.
Definitely not.
But
you mentioned
you don't always have to break the bag, do you? Sometimes you just get it to bend. And
you mentioned Badiashile, Kuva, and we need a center back. And I asked, David this the other night because David was like, I want Gabardiol, I want Bastoni, and it's like, Dave, like I hate to break it to you, I feel like we've missed the boat, or maybe hurt ourselves, in that pursuit of those sort of players. Are we going to have to maybe settle with, these Ndika, Badiashile, type players that are a bit maybe not as household names, but, have a good, I don't know, they're kind of a bit riskier, but they could actually end up working out. What are your thoughts on bringing in one of those type of center backs that are a bit more promising, less proven?
Yeah, I think that's always got to be a plan. We haven't got unlimited money, have we? So even if we just go for somebody that, they can be promising. Conte offers so much. He trains the players so quickly. You look at the difference between Dyer and Davies alone at the back in the space that, 2/3 of a season he's had them. If you start off with somebody that's got a much better base level, much more potential ability, he could get them up to scratch very, very quickly. And that's what we need. That would tie in with why Lunglay's come in as well, because he does have the experience. That buys us a bit of time. It maybe get another loan signing in if we have to. So we could be looking at a relatively good value player, a Badiashile, for example. I don't know how much he'd cost now. Probably the price is going up because the window's ticking on.
And we're running out of centre backs at this stage.
People will be thinking Spurs have got some money. They're going to become knocking. So let's get the most out of it. But
I think Ndika would be the best value because I believe he's like Kostic, where he only has 1 year left, I think, on his contract. Whereas the Badiashile, situation, you might be financially, kind of, pushed around maybe a bit more because they could ask for more money. Whereas Ndika, I think, is headed out the door. So you could probably, I don't know what am I telling Spurs? I mean, I don't know why we haven't acted on it already when it comes to Ndika. Yeah. He seems like the most logical choice to me.
Ndika and Kostic in the same package. That solves a little bit more depth on the wing back situation.
It's a 2-for-1 deal. You're right.
It really is. It really is. I mean, since they played in the same team, they know what to expect from each other on that left flank. Makes perfect sense. It sticks a finger in West Ham's eye while you're at it, which is always a good thing.
I've got a couple of questions on what we're talking about here, guys. First of all, with the likes of Badiashile and Ndika, are we going down that B-Tech route that we so often criticize Spurs for by not going after the main guys like a Bastoni, like a Skriniar? And second of all, another question is, before I forget, Kuva, I know I'm unloading a lot of questions here, but I will forget, is the fact that, look, everyone, I'm just going to put this out there because I don't want people running crying to me, Dave, how do you not think we need to do more in the window? I do think we need to do more in the window. I definitely think we need a centre-back. I'm putting that out there now. But to play devil's advocate and have a fair, structured conversation and debate, what would you say to the people out there, Kuva, that maybe would be thinking like, well, we've already brought in 6, you know, you're looking for maybe another, say, for instance, 3. That brings it up to 9. That's 9 out of a 25-man squad that's going to be registered. Can Tottenham do all that in one window? And will that disrupt the harmony in the changing room if we bring that amount in?
Well, we were basically a broken ship after a third of the season last year. So there's a lot of fixing to do. Either you roll your sleeves up and do it while you've got one of the best managers in the world here, or you just let it carry on for a while and then waste that opportunity. So I think we should be doing everything that we possibly can do to raise the overall ability level of this squad. Yeah. It starts with getting a very, very good first 11 on the pitch, and then you filter down those players that drop out of the team onto the bench. So we're not looking at the academy players to fill out that 5 substitutes. We'd have the likes of Dyer, Davies on the bench. We'd have looks like Lucas Moura will stick around. He's always been a bench player for us in the past.
He's 1 year left on his contract anyway. I think
ideally you'd want to replace him.
Well, he got his contract extension, Dave. He's till 2025, I thought.
Who, Lucas?
Thought he got his contract extension.
No, that was Davies.
Yeah.
Isn't he rumored at getting one as well? Wasn't that like the
possibly
big rumor?
You get the feeling Conte likes him, don't you, because of his work rates. So
yeah.
And he doesn't cause problems, does he? There's never a scandal about Lucas Moura, is there? About proper professional from that point of view. So perhaps that's the kind of reliability he's looking for be there on the bench. So you don't necessarily. There may be doubts about how good he is for that starting 11 nowadays, but when you're in trouble or we get an injury crisis, do you want to see a youngster coming in the Champions League? Or do you want to just have that player like Lucas Moura to come on and just steady the boat, although he might not be the spectacular sort of influence we've always hoped he would be, except for one match, obviously. It's the experience versus the talented youth at the moment. So I think we need a bit of both. And I think perhaps some loan signings is the option to the rest of the window. If we're not spending the big money because we know Bastoni doesn't want to come because he's settled in Milan. He's got a young family as well. Wife's just had a baby, I think. There's a lot of big reasons why he doesn't want to uproot at the moment. Now, I can perfectly understand that. A lot of Italians don't want to leave the league anyway. It's good life over there for them. So there are other options about. And if we're not getting the right ones, it comes back to that. Are we just going for the sort of B?
Because Jack does always say at the end of the day, if you can't get your first choice, you still have to get somebody,
Yeah,
that's
but
what I'm
is
thinking.
Is it better to have a loan deal for 1 year, then go back?
Yeah,
to
another long life deal.
Yeah.
Structure another long.
We'll have to wait and see on that. But if we do nothing else, if we don't bring anybody else, this window suddenly turns into a failure.
Yeah,
because we'll be looking over our shoulders at the likes of Arsenal to see what they do in the rest of the window. Because at the moment, we've got the beating of them. But if we do nothing and they do bring in a couple of brilliant players, suddenly they've had a good window and ours isn't so good. It's that we don't want to be in that sort of situation. So now or never, we've got Conte. Let's get the players in. Just get some quality in. 2, 3 at the minimum. Ideally 4. I mean, the more we can get, the better. But I mean,
2 at minimum, I would say.
This is where Levy and Paratici earn their money. Get the players out if that's the problem. Get them out. Get the ones in that we want. Stop messing about. If we miss this opportunity, it's going to be criminal.
Let me ask you this as well, Kuba. I have one more question before I let Jack in with more questions. I know Jack has loads. Is these players that are supposedly rumored to be going out now? Look, for me, I've said all summer long we're going to struggle to offload them because they're just useless. What club is going to want to take a punt on them? But do you think we're struggling to get them out because our asking price is too high? Or do you think we're victims of what we've done before to clubs where they're going to wait to the end of the window to get them at a bargain rather than pay what we're looking for?
It's a bit of both, isn't it? we know Levy will try and get every last penny out of every single deal. I'd hope that this is the point where we're now at where that's no longer the case. It's become more crucial to do everything we can get to get the players in. And if that means taking a few cut price deals and just saying, didn't work out, we'll take the hit on this one, just to enable that one extra player in that Conte definitely wants, it's got to be done. This is a sort of, it's really the test for Levy now, isn't it? We've said this all summer, haven't we? This is the one where we find out what he's really all about. Because if we don't do it over the next couple of years when Conte is here, when are we ever going to do it? When are we going to have another chance with a manager of this caliber? Yeah. And if we don't do, I can forgive it if we go all out and we fail to get some of the targets, but we actually went for them. I'm okay with that. If we go out to try and get them and they just turn us down, that's a different story. But if we don't go out at all and we just sit here thinking, if only we get to another semi-final, don't quite get over the line because we're missing that bit of quality to come off the bench, or somebody's injured and we didn't have a quality replacement. It's going to be killer again. We've done that so many times over the years. It's the biggest gripe I've always had with Levy. I mean, people say Levy out brigade and that, blah blah blah. For me, it's the problem with Levy hasn't been that he doesn't make signings. It's we always take our foot off the accelerator where we're in the position to go further. I don't want to see that mistake happen again. Conte's here now. Let's do it. We can really do something now.
Let's do something. Let's do something, Kuva. Let's do something. And so maybe my final question would be, where do you think Spurs will finish? And, with kind of, Karen Tuchel, kind of complaining over at, Chelsea, with maybe, Man United undergoing a bit of a rebuild, also not really getting too many players through the door either, over there. Do you feel like Spurs have a better chance than you thought of maybe getting into the top three? I know we were all expecting top three, but it does look like other teams might not be as prepared as maybe we are going into the season.
I think it, well, if you break it down,
Talk Sport is telling me that.
If you break it down, Chelsea for a start, so they had a meltdown last season under Tuchel, and I don't see that they've recovered from that yet. There's no evidence to suggest they have. So they are certainly there for the taking. I've got money on us beating them at their place early on at the season. That will lay down the quite a marker for them. It will show them they're no longer good enough, and we are on the up. United are going to take time to build anything. They've got a bigger rebuild job than we do. They've really let their squad slip as well. I think they will get there. They're going to be playing better football next season. They still got a problem with Ronaldo because he's become making himself a bit of a pariah there. It's not good for squad harmony. And at the moment, who's going to take him? Doesn't look likely anybody. So that leaves the Gooners. And like I said, if they do make a couple of great signings, not the sort of Man City cast-offs that are good players but don't quite fit exactly what they want. If they get an injury to, say, Partey or something, who's going to replace him? There's nobody.
I'll be honest though, the Gooners as well as us, we sort of look the most prepared. I feel like us and the Gooners do look the most prepared going into this sort of season. Like, I know we don't like to admit that, but like Chelsea look less prepared than the Gooners. Man United, they're like trying to get themselves ready, but like I said, I'm not convinced by the signings that they've made, since they've not really made like really any signings, whatsoever that have actually really improved the team. I think even the Malacia deal, as much as I like Malacia, they already have two left backs. Like, I don't really get, that transfer in the first place. They have Telles and they have Shaw as well. So I feel like, top three is more likely, or at least, it appears to be, I don't know if easier is the right word, but it looks more attainable just by the fact that the teams that normally would be challenging very hard for those positions don't look as strong as they normally would.
Also, you've got to tag on to that the fact that, what did Conte say when he arrived? He really doesn't like taking over a team mid-season because he wants a full pre-season, get the players in the condition he wants and knowing their role. This time, he's got it. How many points does that add on to our tally from last season? You've got to assume it's worth a few points. Let's call it 5. How many points by having the extra players in that we didn't have last season?
Yeah.
How many points is that worth? Another extra 5 or so? We're getting over 80 points then.
Closing
And
the
then
gap
putting
as
the
well then.
gelling
Yeah.
together a bit better. General squad depth is better as well. How many extra points is that? You know, you chip away at it each section at a time, and you could
That
justify
18
us
point,
pushing.
19 point difference looks a lot less.
Could be pushing for 90 points though. It's not out of the question. If we can get to the 90-point mark, we're in the running for something. The trouble is, Man City could well hit 100 points. You don't know.
Yeah.
If that's the case, you can't. You just have to accept it, don't you? Just bide your time, wait for a slip up. But you never know what's going to happen in football. Pep might have a massive bust up with a club and walk out. You never know what's ahead. There might be some financial scandal. They get thrown out of the league. That would be fun.
Or they'll just get away with it like they've done before.
Yeah, just a few more brown envelopes. Yeah. Oops, allegedly.
A few more trips out, all expenses.
Liverpool is a mini transition for them, but it's still a transition. They're not going to be the well-oiled machine they were last season straight away. They might turn into it again. But you've got to assume they're not going to be quite firing on all cylinders. So, like I said, if we manage to get ourselves up to 90 points, it's a big ask, but why not? If
Liverpool run out of asthma inhalers and teeth whitening, maybe they might not do so well.
Exactly. Yeah. Just it's always a case of that, though, isn't it? You get yourself in the running and then see what happens.
Yeah.
I think Conte said it about 10 games to go. Just make sure you're in the race. Anything can happen. I mean,
sounds like I heard you say we're winning the quintuple. If I, heard you correctly there.
No, we can't next season. That'd be silly. We're not in the Charity Shield next season. Season after that, then it's the quintuple, isn't it?
That's right. And we didn't get the chance for the Audi this year
right.
either. So,
and then the most important signing for the season after will be the can of Mr. Sheen for the trophy cabinet.
Well, look, don't forget we've already got a trophy going into the season. We won the Walter Cup, so don't forget that.
That's true. That's true.
We're already champions.
It is then, mate.
Well, look, Kuba, I really appreciate you coming on, my man. I've had a great conversation with you. We always do, to be fair. So, my man, big yourself up. And anything you want to say before we let you go?
I'll just give a big up to Bobspur TV if I can.
Yeah, let's put that in the chat.
Yeah, just Bob's looking to raise the last few quid he possibly can before he hands in. Finishes the charity drive for the Queen Alexandra Hospital in Harlow.
Reach the 3K.
Yeah, he's getting closer and closer to 3K every day. If he can, whatever he finishes on, it's going to be doubled by a very generous group of people. So could be looking at a £6,000 check going over to a hospital that helps him get through his being in a coma twice, basically. So, I mean, literally saving the man's life and so many others as well. We've got to give a big up to the NHS, and Bob's doing his part. If we can all get over support him, even if you've got a couple of quid just to put into his little charity drive, you can see the end result. He's going to get one of those big checks and then take it over to the hospital, hand it over in person. It'll be a really nice event, and a big up to the NHS as there should be. Same in all countries as well. Back up. You've got to back the people that look after you. If they're, especially when they're on low paid and unappreciated, like a lot of the NHS are here.
Absolutely.
Do our part when we can. So that's what we're back. And Bobspur TV on tomorrow night on In the Wall, and it'll be Ben Kaufman and I hosting it. In Bob's absence, so a bit of craziness, bit of blowing off
crazier
at the end of the week.
Could get crazier. Free license there, free license up Bobspur. Somehow it got crazier. Big up, everybody, check it out. And also, like Kuba said, check out Bobspur TV's channel as well as the link to get that I believe over 3,000. Kuba said, big up.
And if you can, like you said, if you've anything little, it doesn't matter how little or how big. Every single little thing helps. So make sure you can, if you can, donate. But look, Kuba, we'll see you again soon, my man. Big yourself up.
Will do. Cheers, lads.
See you, and thanks for helping while I was out sick, my man.
No worries. Anytime, mate.
I appreciate that. Big up, lad. Big up.
Everybody,
there you are, guys. That's Kuba 99. That's Philip and Kuba, two godfathers batter, following each other. I mean, absolutely brilliant. Jack, where are we going next, my man?
We have we have a member in Philo123 Coys who's become a fan, or I believe a Flat Cap member. Philo, it's looking good with that badge besides the name. Like I said, I liked your handle. I kind of like, your username on YouTube, but now it's looking even better, with the badge alongside it. Big up, Philo. Big up, my man. Daniel Larson, we're bringing you on, my man. I believe it's Daddy Hoiberg coming into the stream. There he is. There's the camera. Big up, Philo, though. Good to see you in the chat, my man. I appreciate the support, grabbing the fan show membership.
Imagine.
And we have Daddy Hoiberg on. What's up?
Hello.
You keep
How we doing?
Good to see you. No, I'm good.
First question, my man, a bit of an unorthodox question, but are we going to see Hoiberg starting the first game of the season, especially because he's coming up against Southampton?
I think so. I think he's going to start. I think it's going to be him and Benny in midfield.
Him and Bentancur, yeah. Bentancur has looked saucy this preseason, my man. He's actually looked the most confident.
Yeah, so I think Bissouma he's going to be, he has to fight his way into the team. Even though I'm really excited to see him.
He doesn't walk this, he doesn't walk into this team, you feel like right away, maybe they're kind of, Hoiberg and Bentancur, they have enough, reputation.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't walk into the team.
Yeah, definitely not. What do you made of the fact what we were talking about earlier? Conte potentially hinting at a long-term stay. He was saying, when he was talking about the young players, he said we have many years, together, to improve and potentially challenge the European as well as the English elite. Do you feel like Conte could potentially be here for the long term?
I could see it if he gets everything he wants from the club long term. I could see him staying here if you don't get homesick, of course.
Definitely.
And
not.
also, I think he wanted to stay long with Inter if it was not for the financial reasons.
You're right.
So I think he wants to stay with the club for a while.
What is it you think about the club? Like, what is the attractive proposition about the club that Conte will want to stay?
I think like the stadium, the training grounds. He said it's the best in the world. So if we can just provide him the resources, there's no reason for him to leave anywhere else, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. Look, it'd be interesting to see what happens. I agree with Jack when he says I think he's looking for something a bit more long term, a project. So hopefully we can provide him that.
And also, in the Premier League, he gets, kind of consistent, competition. He gets to play more often at sort of elite level, kind of competitive teams. Whereas, if you're in the Bundesliga, not every week you get to play, a team that's more or less your level. Same thing with the Serie A. Sometimes you are playing teams like Venezia, you're playing teams like Monza, and, teams like that, probably are not really near your level. Whereas the Premier League, as much as there is, a huge gap between the top six and the rest, it does feel like every game is a bit more competitive, Daniel. Maybe Conte likes that.
Yeah, I mean, you never know the results in the Premier League. You can win against City and the next win to lose against Burnley, like we know. So.
Definitely. And also, Conte, him being a former player and him being, a competitor himself, obviously, right? He would definitely want to play in a league where he gets to, get a bit more pumped up for it. He knows that there's more at risk. He knows that there's more on the line, every game. And as a former player, I bet maybe he likes that.
Yeah. Yeah, he loves it. Absolutely loves it.
What would you say to Evan Parata here? He says, I disagree. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg has been our worst centre mid in pre-season.
Well, I kind of agree.
Pre-season.
Yeah, he against Sevilla, he was absolutely awful. But can't take too much into that. I still think he was good against Rangers. He needed time. I think that was his first game, wasn't it? Like against Sevilla, like.
Yeah,
in the heat and all that.
Against the K-League 11.
Yeah. I thought we have to wait and see.
Yeah, look, what I would say to people is get off Pierre-Emile Højbjerg back. Like, at the end of the day, people wanted to try and say Winks is better than him. Well, what I'll say to them people, and by the way, actually, I haven't forgotten, because so many people caned me on this last season. All them people that are coming to me saying he's crap, Winks is better than him. Well, why is Winks being sold and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg went on pre-season? Where are all you people with that energy now? Nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen whatsoever. No, I'm sick of it because Jack, I got
love it, Dave.
absolutely ridiculed for it. Oh, Winks is better than Højbjerg, this, that, and the other. Well, where's that energy now that your boy is being sold and my boy is staying? Where is it now? Love it.
But he did nearly give away 2 goals to Sevilla. Is it just, Højbjerg, maybe being, kind of a bit tired from like the preseason training? Is it, him just kind of like getting the mistakes out now, while he can, Daniel? Like, what do you think it is? Because he did nearly give away 2 goals, to be fair to Evan here.
Yeah, I mean, it's better to do the mistakes now than in the season.
I mean, Sanchez is getting out all his mistakes, hopefully now, while he can. Yeah,
he's gotten away with murder so long. So of course, at once Højbjerg makes mistakes, everyone is on his ass. But some players can get away with everything, Not having it. Maybe a bit biased, but nah.
Big up. Another question for you here, Daniel. Kulusevski, as you might say, apparently he thinks he's better, playing as a number 10, than he is, playing as a right winger. He did admit, though, that his best numbers has come as a right winger. Could he play as I don't know, could he play as a number 10 through the middle for us if we needed a creative midfielder? Could you see Kulusevski playing through the middle, or is he just better out on the right?
I can see him playing as a number 10.
No,
but I do think
maybe we don't need to get a Zaniolo then. We have Kulusevski, Harry Kane, and Hill Messi, to play through the middle.
Yeah. I mean, it's so hard with the system we play, of course. We don't not really play with the number 10, I don't think. It's either 3 at the top or 2 at the top. So
true, very, very true.
Yeah,
and then Daniel,
you can play anywhere.
Definitely can play anywhere, my man. And then we're gonna get lastly, we're gonna get your predictions. I want you to give me your detailed predictions here. Daniel. Where are Spurs finishing? Chelsea right now, they're looking a bit, kind of. I don't know, like a bit up and down. Thomas Tuchel's already crying. Karen Klopp, he brought in Darwin Nunez. Darwin Nunez doesn't look very convincing. You could say Man United, they haven't really gotten the signings yet to really challenge. Where are Spurs finishing, my man?
Second or third?
Second or third. And, is it City? Is it City that, we're going to finish
I think
behind,
City
likely?
are too strong still, sadly.
Yeah.
I just think. But Liverpool, I need to see them a little bit more at the start of the season, see how they get on. But third, definitely. Not lower than third.
You're a bit skeptical of Liverpool, it sounds like. Maybe not so convinced on them yet.
Yeah, not right now that convinced. I mean, they got thrashed by United. Come on. That shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah,
but
that's
I
not
think
supposed to happen.
I think Nunes is going to be good, to be honest. I think it's going to come good. But
all right.
I mean,
Nunes is going to come good.
Yeah, Firmino might be sold. I saw Firmino might to Juventus. Was that just rumor? Or?
I think Timo Werner might be heading. Timo Weenie, from Chelsea, might be heading over to Juventus by the looks, but I think he's given up on the Premier League. I think Firmino is sticking around. I think he's sort of seen as, kind of a Liverpool favorite, at least for, Jurgen Klopp is. And then, just lastly with Chelsea, do you think Chelsea are going to be finishing in top 4, or are they going to slip up this season?
It's hard. They might just get 4th. But it's gonna be like last season for us. They're gonna be just getting there, if that's the case.
Yeah, they might be battling the Gooners for that 4th spot. But the Gooners are, be really pressing for that 4th spot. So you probably are right there.
I mean, Tuchel like to bend over for Arteta, so Jesus.
Definitely does. So does Pep as well, but they all seem to, it just seems like everybody's, Arteta fanboy across, the league. They give him way too much credit. They give him way too much kindness. Daniel, any final things, you want to say? Anything that we didn't get to ask you? We went through all the banners here, went through all the questions, anything that you wanted us to ask you before we let you go?
Well, we need, of course, now a new centre back with Joe Rodon leaving.
Yeah.
And who could that be, really? Who are we linked?
Who do you want?
See, I don't know.
You got a blank check, my man. Would you want Skriniar? Would you want, like that Ndika guy? Who would you want to bring in?
Well, a Skriniar, if that's the case.
No, I mean, he's still available.
He's almost
technically.
world class, you know.
Yeah, he's still technically available, you know, and we probably need more of a right-sided or at least a right-footed maybe defender. You know, Adrian pointed out in the comments that, you know, if we brought in another left-footed one, we really haven't, you know, been able to find someone who can also play right-sided center back. So could be onto something there, Daniel. But yeah, so you would go for Skriniar if you had the opportunity?
Yeah, I would. Definitely. And also Madison. I really want to see Madison.
More than Zaniolo?
Yeah, more than Zaniolo. I really rate Madison. I think if he gets that next step in his career, he's going to really flourish. So I would love it.
Love it.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Definitely see.
Yeah.
Well, Daniel, appreciate it, my man. Thank you for coming on. Thanks for, you know, for all your answers on the questions. You know, it seems like, you know, we got through a lot there, especially like your league predictions, you know, maybe with not being so convinced on Liverpool. But Daniel, as always, my man, appreciate you. We'll be chatting to you soon. Hopefully Monday, because we're going to need to get your predictions Monday as well, brother.
We'll see. But take care,
All right.
guys. Have a good weekend.
Catch
Same
you soon,
to you, my man. Enjoy yourself.
up,
Never
Daniel.
give up your support of Højbjerg, lad.
What?
Never give up the support of Højbjerg.
No, never.
Love it.
Take care.
We'll see you again soon, Daniel.
Big up, Daniel. See
Big
you
up,
soon.
my man. Big up. Everybody give Daniel a lot of love in the comments, guys. Big up. John Langford, new YouTube member. As he
elite membership, Dave. He just upgraded to the elite membership, and you know we're going to be revamping the Tell Me Your Spurs story. Dave and I are going to be coming up with better questions, better format. You know, just kind of give it a new sleek kind of polish, you could say. You know, for the Tell Me Your Spurs story. So, John, I bet you're going to be interested in that. You know, I bet he's got some good stories, Dave.
Yeah, John, if you could just get in contact, leave us a way of contacting you. The email for either myself or Jack on social media is in the description below this video. If you just get in contact so we can make contact with you about getting together and doing your Spurs story, John, big yourself up, my man, and appreciate the support, brother.
Big up, John. Really do appreciate it. Massive, becoming an elite member. But we're going to keep plowing on. We have two more guests to get through here. We got Dermot from Tottenham Till I Die, or THFC Till I Die. How we doing, Dermot?
I'm actually doing quite well. And it's actually nice to see the pair of you back together. Dave, you were missed. Jack did a brilliant job. Absolutely brilliant. But Dave, you were missed. So it's it's nice to have the band back together. It just feels natural now. It just feels... We've just had just a bit of peace to the Spurs universe on YouTube. Dave and Jack back together. It just...
No, look, you know I'm fucking sick when I've missed a Spurs game. You know, I don't miss them for absolutely anything. So, you know, but look, no, it's good to be back. But look, Dermot, I mean, plenty to talk about today. Joe Rodon leaving, Conte maybe saying he wants to stay for a long time. Where do you want to take this? What do you want to talk about?
Well, can I start with your comment on the screen first? Chelsea will finish 9th. West Ham, we're going to Bernie the dinosaur's going to be chasing these bubbles down at West Ham because they're going to be nowhere. Arteta is going to be somewhere chasing these marbles because they're going to finish in the top 8. And Spurs are just going to win the league. So there's nobody point turning anybody's... And might as well just give us the trophy now. You know, just
sounds
get
like
that
there's
over
just going to
and
be a few
with.
empty spaces, you know, in the top 6. Just, you know, nobody could apply, you know, it looks like, you know, for, you know, some of those
I mean, they
positions.
should go to the Premier League and just say, look, put in their forms. Look, we'd like to finish there. Just give us the league now. We're winning it. We really are winning it.
An application to win the league, you know.
We're
Yeah, they
definitely
might
going to
as
have
well.
to earn it. We're definitely going to have to
Yeah.
earn it. I think we definitely have the potential to do it. I think, look, what I want to do actually is give the boy, give us credit a little bit because we've made leaps and strides in the transfer window. We've brought in the set piece coach, you know, and what else? There was something else. And getting the players super fit. They're giving themselves every opportunity from every angle to try and actually make a good go at this, you know.
It is that for the first time in a long while, we've been doing things right, been acting as a big club. You know, we've always said we're the biggest club, one of the biggest clubs in London. We're now acting at it. We're spending the money wisely. We're getting players in for players' position, not just for names. We're getting in the players in for their positions. Conte will, if he does stay with us for a long time, we'll be as dominant as the Bill Nick side. I'm that confident that we can match the 60 side.
How
with
long
Conte
do you
in
It seems
charge.
like, Dermot, what you're asking is you're basically just saying, to the Premier League, hey, these are the dimensions I want, for the trophy, for the guy that, welds it in, and everything. Seems like that's what you're saying. These are the dimensions for the T. This is the font
Yeah.
that I want for Tottenham Hotspur. It seems like that's what you're saying. Get the
I mean,
dimensions for the coats.
Just quickly, Stefan and Bayern Munich. Don't forget that.
Yeah. I just looked up, I've been doing a bit of research the last few days, and the top 5 on the year we did the double, and it really shocked me, was Sheffield Wednesday in 2nd, Wolverhampton Wanderers 3rd, Burnley 4th, Everton 5th. Now, I just think we're going back to them years. I really do. I think we have the player and the manager to really match the 60 side. I really do. I mean, we've got Harry Kane. He's as good as Jimmy Greaves is now. Jimmy Greaves was back then. We've got Bentancur, Holberg, Skip, as good as Dave Mackay in the middle of the field. And you've got Romero, who is as good as Danny Blanchflower in the back. I think the only place I'm a bit wary of is our goalkeeper. Though Hugo's done great service for us over the years he's been with us, I think we need to look there as well, just to have a young goalkeeper. Fraser Foster's not that young, and I think we need to bring a younger keeper to bring him through, and a Cam, and I think Madison will fit that role. And I just think we'll be going. Nobody will touch us. I really do. And sorry, Jack.
No, I was going to say, I kind of wish that we had, maybe pursued a younger keeper as well, but with Conte, maybe going after, or at least, taking Forster for now, is that because, he wants the goalkeepers to have like a bit more of like a wise, kind of, presence, a bit of kind of a, I don't know, like, a wise head, maybe, in the dressing rooms, the goalkeepers.
I think so. I think last season with Galini, I don't think we had the keeper to come in to give Hugo a rest for the cup games or for the early, like for the Conference League games or even the early League Cup games. We've now got a goalkeeper that's Premier League proven. And he is a good goalkeeper, Fraser Foster. He's a big lad.
Yeah.
And I think I was looking at a thing the other day, and we seem to have doubled in every position for the season. We've got 2 or 3 players for every position, which for Tottenham, we've never had that. I mean, we finished with 14 fit players or 11, 13 fit players the end of last season?
Yeah, 14.
I just think it's to answer your question, what you said earlier, guys, Paratici and Conte are running that club. I think Philip Brady said it as well. He hit the nail on the head. They're running that club. And it was the same when Bill Nick was in charge. He ran the club from top to bottom.
Yeah.
It was his way or no way. Keith Birkinshaw was the same. You do it my way. The chairman just give me the money to buy the players. And the problem is we've had too many yes men that have been our managers over the years, even since Birkinshaw. Terry Venables won us the FA Cup. Great. But I think after that, from George Graham onwards, there's been too many yes men. And nobody stood up to Levy or stood up to the board and said, look, I'm doing it my way. And Conte's the first one to do that, I think, since Keith Birkinshaw stood up. I'm doing it my way. You don't like it, I'm off. And the board have had to say, fine, we'll do it your way. To be fair. And I think it's refreshing. I think it's a type of Bill Nick type situation. You do it my way. I run the club from top to bottom, and you're gonna reap your awards.
Does he want a long-term, kind of, club? Does he want a club that he feels like he can settle down at? Or do you think Conte, all he wants is, just immediate success? If Spurs start to turn, maybe, he'll leave. Do you feel like that he is looking for this like long-term partner, you could say?
I think so. I think Conte was always looking for a long-term project. As you said, and as we all know, he left Chelsea because they wouldn't back him. He left Inter Milan because they wouldn't back him. Or was it Juventus? Sorry if I've got that wrong.
Inter. No, you're right, Dermot. No, you're right.
He's left clubs because they wouldn't back him. We've backed him this season, and we've backed him with the amount of money. Now, we spent that money wisely. And Paratici should be given a hell of a lot of credit for the way he spent that money. And to be fair, Levy as well, because he has listened to what the fans said. I know there's a lot of people doesn't like Levy or doesn't like the way he's done it, but to be fair, he's backed the manager this season, and there's nothing we could have asked for. They've spent wisely, and I think Paratici needs a hell of a lot of credit, and he is the done.
I mean, but look, I agree. I think we've done everything we can, but there are, look, to have a fair, balanced discussion, there are some fans out there that are unhappy with what we've done, and that we only have a net spend of about, I think it's 40 to 50 million, and you know that maybe we've been hoodwinked. What's your thoughts on that, Dermot?
You can't please everyone. Everyone's going to find a thing to complain about. You could win the league and do the double, and somebody will find something there'll be a hole in it. You can't please everyone. All we can do as fans is back Conte, back the team from day one to the last day of the season. That's all we can do as fans. There's no point in complaining. If you complain, that leaves bad taste in the. It just leads. What's the word I'm looking for? It just leads to bad taste in people's mouths.
Mm-hmm.
That then spreads to the players, and the players, and that spreads then to the manager, and the manager think, well, don't want to stick around. Conte has done wonders. He got us Champions League from 9th last season. Ellie said that to me earlier, and she's spot on for what she said. We've got a manager since the best since Bill Nicholson. When can we ever say that?
Do you think there's any similarities between him and Bill Nick? And if you do, what are they?
I think Bill Nick was a Yorkshireman, so Bill Nick was very straight down the line. He was always, for what I've heard from Steve Perriman and people like that, he was always straight to the point, and Conte straight to the point. But Conte, you have to do it his way, and Bill Nick was the same. You do it my way. And I think Bill Nick, Keith Birkinshaw as well, another Yorkshireman. And I think their managers are very far and few between. And we should count our blessings we have a manager like that. Because you look at Liverpool, Klopp, how long did it take him to get Liverpool their first league title? 4 or 5 seasons?
Yeah.
Pep, the same thing. You know, Alex Ferguson, who I do admire as a manager. I don't like the team, but I admire him as a manager. Came in 86, didn't win the league until 92-93.
Yeah.
He had to win the FA Cup to keep his job.
Yeah.
You look at these teams from the past and you can learn from them. Conte is a world-class player and a world-class manager. And we should be grateful. We should put this Levy thing to bed, get behind the team. We could match the double side here. We have an opportunity to do something I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. The same as you guys, the same as people in the chat. We have an opportunity to see us might win the league. Now, come on, let's just get on the train and just stay positive, because we can do it.
I definitely echo that. I think, look, even myself, even if we don't get in a centre back and I'm unhappy, look, like we've always kind of said, you know, there's always going to be something you're unhappy with going into the season. But I think for this season, just purely because the last 2 or 3 have been really, really hard, we've been down going into the seasons and all. Because there's a lot of excitement and a lot of positivity, we've made good strides in the window. We've got a world-class manager. You know, we've really added to what we've got. We're back in the Champions League. Let's get behind the boys. Let's get behind the team going into the season. And let's see what all of that can do. Let's see what that positivity can do. You know, let's try it out. And look, I'm not saying everybody has to be positive, but we've tried all the negative stuff. So let's try the positive stuff and let's see what that can do for a change.
I mean, we were looking back at previous managers last night. We did a show on the rise and fall of Spurs between 81 and 91 and the Scholar and sort of Sugar eras. And we were just looking at the managers. I mean, Christian Gross. I mean, you scratch your head at some of the managers we've had in the past. Martin Yeo, top man, always be one of my favourite. Harry Redknapp, Bill Deford. I think it was them that dug the foundations for the success we're having now. And you should not forget the work they did in the early stages. Harry Redknapp, the first manager to get us into a Champions League. We got quarterfinals the following season. you look at it, and Poch then laid the concrete on that foundation, and now Conte's building the house that Conte lived in. We've had the Bill Nick house. Now we're going to get a Conte house, and I think I am just so excited. I haven't been this excited for a season for so long, and it's just I'm buzzing. And you look back and you think we can match that, and we can. And I think this transfer window's been brilliant. Joe Rodon going, I think that's brilliant as well. Good for him. I think he'll flourish in the French league. To be fair,
do you even care?
I do, because I like to see players that leave us get on.
You're going to be a sentimental melt, aren't you, Darren?
Well, Don Tanguy, I don't care what he does. I don't care if he goes fishing up the Nile in Egypt. I really couldn't care. I just feel dropping him off somewhere, Dave, on a border, and just tell him to go that way. There's a McDonald's in that place, and bring Sanchez with him as well, because he's another useless article. Rodon, I hope he gets on all right. And I really do, because I think you'd like to see players develop. Maybe the Premier League isn't for him, but maybe the French League will be. It's the same as Jaffa as well, going to AC Milan. I wish him all the very best. And look, I hope he flourishes, because I think he's a great talent, but it needs to come out of him. And I just wish them players the very best. But Tonge, he can just leave now. Please, just go. For the love of God, do something right. Look, we'll get you a plane, we'll fly you to South Korea, and we'll just tell you McDonald's is over the corner, over the mountain, turn left, and you're there. And let him go and live there.
Nice. Look, that guy, I'll be honest, I think we'd be very, very lucky to get rid of him. I'll be honest, we're not getting cash from him this summer. He's going out on loan. I'd be very surprised if I wouldn't even pay a fiver for the cunt. I wouldn't even pay a fiver for him to go and eat healthy, eat an apple or something. I wouldn't do it. So I don't expect any other club to do it.
Our local side, Wexford Town.
My bad.
That's all right, Dave.
Apologize.
Even Wexford Town want to take him, and they're fucking useless. I mean, to be fair, you could probably send him to the North Pole, and he probably wouldn't get into their side. He's that useless. You
can take him on your hurling team.
Yeah, and as for Sanchez as well, that fecker can go and all. He gets turned over by farmers and everything.
Yeah,
he's just as useless. I'm like you, Dave. I get my blood starts boiling when he plays. I start chucking lemons and oranges at the telly. That's how bad I'm getting.
Well, look, hopefully we can have a good season this season. I'm fed up with all the mediocrity. I'm fed up with the losing, win one, lose one. I want to see us win back to back to back to back. And hopefully we can do that. And hopefully we can push out the boat and get that last 20% done in this window, because I do think it'd be a shame. Dermot, let me ask you a question, because, look, I'm very happy with the business we've done so far. Very, very happy. But I do think it'd be a shame not to get that last 20% done. And what I'm talking about last 20% is definitely a centre-back and maybe potentially a Cam or another player up in the forward area.
Yeah.
If the window closed right now, would you be happy, or do you think it'd be an opportunity missed, maybe a bit like what Kuva was saying earlier on?
Me and Kuva have different opinions on this. Me personally, I think it's been a brilliant window. When was the last time we got 6 players in before pre-season?
True.
Never. Yeah. Never. Yes, I do agree that we do need a Cam, and I think if we get Madison, I think that'd be a brilliant buy for us. I think we need another centre-back to go with. But mind you, we've got Romero, Longley, and Davis in the back three. And I think that's a decent back three, to be fair. I think with a right wing back, I think we're okay, because I think Spence and Doherty will be the two, though Emerson may be, but he's growing on me. I'd be quite happy, Dave. If it's shut now, I'd be happy. I would be happy, and I would think, it's money well spent, and then what's left, if we need to improve in January, we can improve. Because you never know who you're going to find in the World Cup. A little star could turn up, a little gem, another Oslo dealers.
We've done it with Paulinho before, and look how that turned out. We got absolutely railroaded.
We did it with Ozzy and Ricky, and look how they turned out.
Yeah, but back then it was a bit different. Nowadays, know, player that you can, like, I've seen it time and time again where a player can turn up in the World Cup and then you don't ever hear of him again. We laid out big money on Paulinho at the time.
Yeah, we did. We really did.
Never ever really produced it in a Spurs jersey. So it's very dangerous just to sign a player off the back of World Cup. You've got to do your homework on on players, and that's I think we're at with someone like Paratici and Conte. They'll do the homework, and they're usually right with their signings. I do not see them signing anyone off the back of a World Cup in January.
Yeah.
And if they do, I will actually criticize them because it's stupid.
I think you're right in what you're saying, and you are right. We spent a lot of money on that before, but I think Paratici and Conte have done it right this window. We spent it wisely, and we've got players for players' position, not for the name. We bought it for the position, and I think we as a club have grown since the pandemic. We've got a great new stadium. We have a team that's befitting that stadium now, and a manager that's befitting that stadium. And I just think the glory days are on the way back, and long may it continue.
I hope so.
The signs of glory, hallelujah will be ringing around that stadium.
It's
again.
what we want. All we want is the glory days back, my man. You know, it's what everybody wants. It doesn't matter what side of the camp you're on. You know, whether you're pro-Levy, anti-Levy, whether you're happy with Tottenham or mad with Tottenham. It doesn't matter what side of the camp you're on. Everybody just wants success and trophies, and hopefully we can deliver that. But Dermot, why don't we plug your channel, my man?
Yeah, you can find us on net. Every time I've opened the show, I've got it wrong. So I'm determined to get it right this time. It's THFC Till I Die. We're doing everything from up to now football to in the past. We have the Godfather Philip Brady and Ellie, the Queen of social media, on there. And we've got Izan and Mark as well. Izan is a little genius when it comes to doing all the player profiles and everything. Jack, you should be very proud of him because you taught the lad well. I have to say. He
taught himself.
Yeah, well, I always compare him to your Padion, like Star Wars. You've taught him well. And you can find us over there. We're at 529, so we're looking to reach 600 before the start of the season. And we've done a show last night on the rise and fall of Spurs. Philip Brady and Ellie and Izan was on there, and we had a good chat about the Scholar times and the Sugar times, and maybe fans should be a bit grateful for the situation we're in now. You know. So please, everyone, please get over there and hit a subscription, but please do it here first. This is the mothership to our channel. These guys give me my break.
The subscribe button, so it doesn't matter, my man. It doesn't matter. They all have to be subscribed now. But look, everybody, do get over and check out THFC Till I Die. You know, it's on the rise. There's some good people involved over there. Isan, Ellie, Philip, Dermot. You know, some good conversations happening over there and some good stuff on the history of the club as well. We've made it easy for you. Just click on the link and get over and smash that subscribe. Dermot, it's been a pleasure, man.
It has, and it's great to see you back. Jack, you did brilliant. You're absolutely a great Dermot. Man. Starring the captain, the Irish Hotspur ship through troubled waters. But Dave's a bit like Captain Kirk of the Enterprise. You know, you're like the Spock. He's like the Captain Kirk. You expect him to get into a bit of a fight and have the girl at the end of the day, and you're the one with logic. You're the sensible
Appreciate
one.
You, Dermot. Appreciate you, brother.
And can I just say one thing? Spurs are going back to Wembley.
I love it. What a way to end. Well, Dermot, we'll see you very, very soon, man.
See you, lads. Take care. God bless.
Catch you, Dermot. See you soon, brother.
You've got to love a bit of the Dermotron. You've got to love a bit of him. Absolutely brilliant. I love that guy. Everyone, give him a lot of love in the comments. Philo. Oh, sorry. You've got this to go to first, my man. Any concerns about Lloris's inability to kick?
Yes.
It can be concerning. Yes.
Look,
what I will say is hopefully that we don't have to keep going back to him too much to be able to try and get us out of trouble. Hopefully our centre-backs have that ball-playing ability to be able to do it so that we're not relying on Hugo Lloris to pick them passes. Now, look, I'll be honest, some of the stuff I've seen in pre-season from him, his kicking has been very, very concerning. Jack, are you concerned?
I am concerned because I think it's just how, the game, has kind of sort of evolved where keepers have to take more touches than maybe the fans or even the keepers themselves would like. And I think Hugo is just unfortunate enough to be a keeper from kind of a past era, you could say, Dave, where keepers didn't really have to be so great with the ball at his feet. And it's probably a bit too late, to teach him to be, exceptional with the ball at his feet. He could certainly get a bit better, but I don't think he's going to reach, the levels that you ever, really want him to become. So you do have that inherent risk. And Adrian, when we're coming up against teams like Man City, Liverpool, and whatnot, that are probably going to force us in a lot of occasions to pass it back to Lloris, and Lloris will have to have lots of touches. Those are the games where I get worried. Because it's actually, I feel like we pointed this out, Dave. Sometimes Lloris actually pings the ball quite well. Like he can find somebody with an accurate pass. It's more Adrian. It's that first touch of his that's always shocking. Like his first touch is really always very sketchy. It just, even when he has a nice first touch, it still looks like it's very, kind of, I don't know, uncomfortable, or he looks, very awkward when, kind of receiving the ball. I feel like he can find somebody, he can hit somebody straight to the chest, but it's just that first touch that's always a bit sketchy. And I think that's where for keepers, it's the most important part is like getting that first touch right, because if you get that first touch right, you buy yourself more time. And then also as well, you probably make the, the pressing attackers maybe not so, keen on pressing you if it looks like it's a bit pointless. But with someone like Lloris, where that first touch is a bit shocking, occasionally it encourages you to keep pressing.
Yeah, look, all I can say is I agree with you, Jack. It will encourage them to press him, man. Look, hopefully the guy's working on his kicking, because look, let's be honest, we didn't buy Hugo Lloris for his kicking. We brought him for his shot stopping ability, and that he's very, very good at. Look, with the way modern day football is going, I think the next keeper we bring in here has to be very, very good with his feet. But I think we're just kind of seeing out Hugo Lloris's last 2 years maybe, and then we'll rectify that problem. But is it concerning me to the point where I think it'll be costly? No. It's just irritating when it's not consistent, is what I will say, Adrian. Very good point, though. I like the way you look at football, my man. Very good question.
I love the modern keeper, Adrian. I'm a big fan of, the keepers, that are good with their feet. I think it really helps you play the way that you want to play.
Yeah, 100%. And it helps you build out from the back as well, having someone very, very confident on the ball. Look, I think I've said this multiple times. I think there's definitely a world-class player in there. But at the end of the day, there's more than just talent. You have to have the desire, the hunger, the fitness levels, the passion, and the drive and the want to do it. And he has absolutely zero of that. None of it whatsoever. And so for me, like I've seen players like this before. Abel Tarat, Ravel Morrison, prime examples. Balotelli, all the ability in the world. But if you don't have the hunger, desire, or dedication, or you don't want to live like a footballer, it's going to catch up on you. And I was saying this last night, Jack, if you put on weight, I was a very talented player, put on weight, but it catches up on you. You have to start adjusting your game. You can't do things that you would quite normally do. At times we're seeing Ndombele take on two boys, but then losing the ball. But if he was fit, he wouldn't lose that ball. He'd take on two, probably take on a third and brush by them. And this is the guy's problem. For me, there's zero way back. No way back. I seen someone else put in the comments, there could be a way back for him if he proves his fitness. I mean, honestly, I don't usually do it, but I don't know what cloud you're living on or what planet you're living on. There is no way back for him whatsoever. Pochettino,
the most frustrating thing,
for his fitness. Jose Mourinho had to run around apartment blocks with the guys. It's fucking embarrassing. Conte, known for his fitness, the fucker still can't get fit. It's never going to happen for him at Tottenham. Sorry, Jack. I was just passing there.
No, I think you're right. It's a lot easier said than done, for him to develop that engine, for him to develop that stamina, the talent, he's blessed with the talent he has in abundance, probably more in abundance than any other player, you could say, but it's up to him, to get himself right. It's up to him, to get himself into shape and get himself into the motivation that Conte needs. And I would say the fact that we're looking at Zaniolo, Madison, these sort of players, you really look at what Tanguy, he is capable of. It is so absurd that we are actually looking at a creative midfielder when we basically have one of the most talented creative midfielders of a few years ago in our kind of ranks, in our depths. Like we wouldn't be going after a James Madison if Tanguy actually got his shit together, Dave. Like we wouldn't be looking at, James Maddison. We would be thinking that's the guy we can bring off the bench if you need to break down a low block team. In fact, especially a low block team, you could see Tanguy and Ndombele thriving against teams like that because he gets the ball all the time. He gets to do all his showboating, and be able to just take it past 1, 2, 3 players and, play a slip through ball. But it's up to him. It's up to him. He's had all the opportunities, to do it. And he even has a glaring opportunity right now to be that creative midfielder in Conte's team and probably only play 25% of the games on $200K a week, which he probably would love anyway. I think he would, take that opportunity if he could get it. But he's still lazy enough and he's not motivated enough to even take that spot in the squad, which is a very sort of like unique role, in the team. And he's still not motivated enough to take that spot.
Look, I'm pleasantly plump, right? But with the money we spent on that fat fucker, right? We shouldn't even be having these discussions. He should be out there performing week in, week out, pulling up trees, doing Zidane turns around the place. But the fact that we're sitting here having this discussion still 2 years, 3 years after coming to the club, after laying out 60 odd million on the guy, over 100 and I think it's a 40K a week in wages plus bonuses and everything else. You shouldn't be having this conversation. It should be guaranteed that you have a world-class player. The fact that we're talking about the guy's fitness before he can even get on the pitch and offer us anything else is fucking absolutely ridiculous. I'll be honest, it turns my stomach. If there's a way back for him at this football club, we will never, ever, ever go on to win anything. And my optimism will die. If there's a way back for him at this football club, it should never happen. We should never, ever let someone come in here and walk all over this football club like he has done, especially when we've been in the time of need over the last couple of years. The money we've had to spend on that money. Don't forget, we paid 60-odd million for Ndombele, and then all of a sudden we still had to go out and shell another 15 million on top to get Højbjerg in to do his defensive duties because he refused to do them. We spent money on Lo Celso as well. We spent money on Bentancur. Now Basuma. Skip has gone out on loan, developed, and come back. I'm not waiting any longer for this fucker to get fit. Get out my club. I don't care where you go. Go and work in the charity shop. I could not give two cahoots where he fucks off to. Get him gone. In fact, actually, after today, not even entertaining this conversation anymore. Anyone that wants to put Ndombele in the comments, by all means, feel free to do it. But after this, I'm not entertaining this guy anymore whatsoever. We shouldn't even be talking about him. He's a relic.
G saying there's more chance of winning the lottery twice than Tanguy to have a third chance of working after walking off during the Morecambe game. Bench equals the bench has been spicy. And then tomorrow plus season. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Spicy tomorrow. I don't really get the.
Oh yeah. So he's saying there's more chance of winning the lottery than Tanguy have a third chance, which is a third chance. I agree. And after walking off during the Morecambe game, I mean, not only he didn't walk off, he fucking put one foot in the other like a fucking 2-year-old child and trudged off, breathing heavily, may I add. And while the fans are booing him, you think he'd move quicker because we're losing. That's when he lost the fan base. That's when he lost the respect. There's no way back from him. And then the bench, equals spicy tomorrow and for the season. Exactly.
Okay, that's what he meant. Okay.
Exactly. We've got a good bench now, a decent bench heading into the season. Look, last year, I know a lot of people wanted to, and rightly so, with Conte, ask the questions. Well, if he's so good, why is he not doing this? Why he's not doing that? And I kind of, all season, I was just saying, what do you expect the guy to do with a bare 11? And half of the weeks, Harry Winks is in that 11. I mean, if you look round at the bench and Harry Winks was your guy to come off or one of the Craig twins, I mean, what changes do you want the guy to make? Whereas this season, we can make them changes in games, and hopefully that will pick us up another 5 to 10 points this season. That'd be lovely.
He's going to be gone in 2 weeks, like the outlad said in the chat there, Dark Sun G. Don't you worry, my man. And the bench is going to be looking a lot spicier tomorrow, a lot spicier with Ndombele off of it and Dele Alli off of it. I'll tell you that, and I don't need to tell you that, Dark Sun G. But as well, I mean, he has no chance of coming back into this team. He's going to have to make do with that, and he's going to have to make do with the fact that his Spurs career is over, and it's going to have to be started elsewhere, with a different club. Big up, Dark Sun G. Moving on to the last guest of the evening. Sorry, yeah, dude.
1 second. Big up Dark Sun G, but big up the outlad as well. Hopefully you and all the family are enjoying your holidays. I'll be honest, I can't wait for you guys to get back. but big yourself up. And look, hopefully Ronald McDombele gets a job in the drive-thru at Mackie D's. But like Jack was saying there, we will get on the last guest of the evening, and then we will be ending off. And the old lad also says, great window, but not outstanding. We could do with 2 more midfielders, to be honest with you. You know, centre-backs, that's what we need. Someone like you in your prime back in the day, getting up there winning them headers. Danny boy, how you keeping, my man? You keep well?
I'm a little bit sick at the moment, a little bit ill-headed, but that rant on Ndombele made me feel a lot better, by the way. Brilliant rant on Ndombele. I had me pumped up for this video.
You know what it is, lad? I just get annoyed when I see, he needs to prove his fitness and he's back in the team. It's like, are you forgetting what the guy done against Morecambe? Not only Morecambe, we lost to NS Mora with the guy playing in midfield, which a League of Ireland team bet the other day and knocked out Europa Conference League. Teams we should never, ever losing to. But look, I'll be honest, Dan, I don't want to give that guy any more airtime than what he deserves. So, I mean, where do you want to take this, brother? What do you want to talk about, lad?
Well, Joe Rodon, I heard the things that he was going to leave to Rennes, but when I went to Fabrizio Romano's Twitter page and he said 20 mil, I nearly fainted of a heart attack in this room. 20 mil for... I actually rate him, though. The thing is, I actually rate Joe Rodon. I actually think he's a good defender for the price that we got him. I mean, he's done what we brought him in for, and that's to fill up a role. But for 20 mil to Rennes, that just shows you the inflation in football nowadays. I still can't believe that. I honestly cannot believe this guy has been sold to Rennes for 20 mil. That is just mad.
Do you think like Rennes have done it, or whatever you want to, Stade Rennais or whatever you want to call it? I'm not French speaking, so don't crucify me on the pronunciation.
No, perfect, Dave.
But Dan, do you think that they agreed to that just purely to get him in for this season? Or do you think they actually do have the intentions of paying it?
I mean, if they do, then I mean, I'm not sure who's in charge of Rennes, but they need to get their mind checked. For 20 mil road, I'm still shocked by that. I think next season we'll have him back on the team. It's like Ndombele. We sold them to, I think it was Lyon for a while, and then he for a crazy fee that we knew they were not going to pay at the end, and we're going to have him back on our team. So I think Rodon is going to be back on our team by the end of next season. But I actually rate him. I think he's a good backup center back. I remember there was a game against Liverpool under Jose Mourinho where he played a fantastic game. I think for a player that came from Wales, from the price that we got him, he hasn't had a bad time at Tottenham. But I'm not sure if Rennes is going to pay 20 mil for him. That would just be mad. I think he's going to come back by next season.
Yeah. I mean, he does seem like a stopgap sort of signing. There. Do you feel like, he's going to get, enough game time there? Because, he's probably very, concerned about getting enough game time before the World Cup.
I think either way he's going to get game time because he's a really good center back for Wales, and he's done a good job for them qualifying to the World Cup. And I think the manager's going to remember that. I don't think the manager's going to be too worried about his game time. But I think he'd be able to get some game time at Rennes. I think. I'm not sure because
he wants it at least. He'd probably stay at Spurs if he knew he wasn't to get much game time there.
Nah, I've seen people saying that they want to keep Rodon, and I like the guy, but for what? What are we gonna keep him for? So we could see his new haircut every 3 months when he comes on to play. It's not gonna make much of a difference.
That was good. I like that.
Difference. He's not gonna make an influence in the team. It's just gonna be someone to fill in a role. I have a question real quick. Is he homegrown? Does he count like homegrown?
No, not on any of it. Not even the Premier League or the
because you thought he was Swansea. Isn't he a Swansea kid?
Yeah.
Well, so
isn't that a Premier League or English Pyramid club?
I don't know what way it works, but apparently he doesn't classify as homegrown in either. I don't know why.
Wow. Yeah,
so
he is a bit of a waste of space then. He is a bit of a waste of space then in that case, I would argue. If he's
or else actually, maybe he did qualify for the Premier League, but not for the Champions League, I think maybe could be it. But
interesting.
He didn't, look, at the end of the day, and I get some people are saying, I don't want Joe to go. Joe was good. Average Joe. That's what Joe was. Average Joe. And at the end of the day, you've got to stop this sentimentality bullshit. Look, I get it. We've been forced to accept it over the last couple of years with the players that we've brought in. But let's stop trying to hold on to them at every single cost and opportunity. Let's not forget where this club has been the last 2 years, and it's hurt every single fan. So let's stop with all this average stuff and just, I'm backing these average players and wanted to keep them. Just call a spade and get them out the door, end of. What do you think? Do you think Daniel would be looking at a centre-back now with Rodon going and potentially maybe Tanganga out the door as well?
People have their dreams of Bastoni, Guardiola, but I don't think they're happening. I think actually Bastoni is a center back that we're going to sign next season, which I think I saw something the other day that Milan are looking to sell a center back, but I think it will end up being Skriniar to PSG or something like that because we're not getting Bastoni this transfer window. An option that I would like us to explore is one that Jack also talks about quite a lot, and that is Kim Min-jae. He's actually a good center back on the ball. He plays some lovely passes. He reminds me of Toby. So I think I'd like to see him in. He's also a solid defender as well.
I think he went to Napoli. I hate to deflate the boat there, my man, but he's gone to Napoli. David, think you'd find a fight. Yeah, Kim Min-jae has gone to Napoli. Officially gone to Napoli. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. And then at that point,
no, I know it's deflating. It's very deflating.
It's hard to find a center back nowadays that can play in a back three that's good on the ball. It's nowadays.
What do you think of this guy Milinkovic? He's not great on the ball, Daniel, but he's fucking very, very good in the air. And we were linked with him before under Jose.
I remember
the guy that plays at Fiorentina.
I remember when we linked him from under Jose, but to be honest, I don't watch Fiorentina that often. Mm-hmm. Usually when we're linked with a player, I'll talk with a few fans from that club and I'll ask them what they know about him and I'll watch some clips on YouTube, but I'm not sure if I know much about him. But if he's good in the air, I think the main part of being a center back in this back three under Conte is being good on the ball. If he's not good on the ball, then that could be a factor that Conte says no to. But I don't know.
You could make the case that's why maybe he doesn't want Skriniar, though. Skriniar is not very good on the ball. He's never really has been. He's always been a bit clumsy, in certain moments, or at least not, composed, at least not natural, on the ball. So it is a good point.
Let me ask you this, the two of you. So we're looking at a centre-back, right? Dyer shit in the air and shit on the ball. So what is our priority at centre-back? Like, we know we have massive problems all last season from set pieces, but we also have massive problems against low block teams where Moon Boots wants to be snooze boots and take about 8 touches on the ball. So what are we looking for at centre-back? Do we want someone that's an absolute animal in the air, or do you want someone that's good on the ball? And we'll let Daniel in, and then we'll go back to Jacko on that.
Well, when we're going to improve on these players, I understand your point that we're going to want to – there's options to improve Eric Dyer. But at the end of the day, for me, if we're going to improve a player, I don't only want to improve the player. I want to completely improve the player, like a player that will absolutely smash straight into that starting 11. Not a player that you can argue is better than the one that we already have. So I think patience is the key. I think rather than try and be quick and sign another center back, I think we wait for Bastoni. And Bastoni would be a great player to bring into the team. I know you don't really like Eric Dyer, David, but I think Dyer has been really, really good under Conte, and I think Conte has really improved him. I wouldn't shoot myself in the leg if we had him for another season.
No, look, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying turf the guy out the door. I think definitely keep him around. For me, he's better than Sanchez, but I'm not oblivious to his faults when he does play. Like people come and tell me, "Oh, Dave, Dyer's a leader." But then I'm watching him standing right beside Ben Davies. Now, a leader on the football pitch doesn't let that happen. I'm watching people, two players come in at the back post on the likes of Emerson, who everyone calls crap. But then, the thing is, Dyer and Davies are marking each other. Why hasn't Dyer gone across to help him if he's such a leader? People tell me he's good on the ball. I've watched him kick the ball back to goalkeepers time and time again last season. People say, oh, it's the attacking players' fault that we can't break down low block teams. But yet Dyer's taking 8 touches on the ball and letting them get straight back into their shape. Yeah. So if he's not going to help out the attacking players by moving the ball quickly and letting them set back in his shape, look, for me, I get it. He's had a good season. By the way, the first good one he's had here in 8 years, he's finally turned up. Thank you, Eric. But what I will say is I still think we need to be improving on that defense. The problem under Joseph, the reason why we end up sacking Pochettino It's because we couldn't keep goals out. They brought in Jose Mourinho because he's the best defensive manager at the time in world football, thinking he'd be able to get that defense to come together. He couldn't do it. And now Conte has come in. Yes, towards the end of the season, we had a decent run. But what about all that space between the start of the season and towards the end of the season where they were absolutely bang average? You know, people don't want to talk about that. And again, pre-season, have we kept one clean sheet? But yet people tell me defense is not a problem and we don't need to improve back there. We do.
Yeah, well, David, I'm not sure who told you Eric Dyer was a leader because he's not. Can't even lead a conga line.
Loads of people
can't even lead a conga line. I'm not sure who told you he could be a leader. I just think he's a solid defender. I've never seen traits that can make.
He's definitely a better defender than Sanchez. I think that is a true point. And I would even make the case that Dyer is a decent defender. In fact, made a much better defender when he is surrounded by better players. I think when you start to rely on Dyer as like the head and shoulders of like, you know, the back line, he will, you know, kind of crumble. You know, he will, you know, fail you. But if he's seen as probably the less, you know, kind of, you know, talented or, you know, even just the not as good of the back three, you know, not the best one, then I think he actually starts to shine when he has maybe just better players, you know, sort of around him. Where I think with Sanchez, if you ask me, like, if he had better players around him, he's still going to make Sanchez moments. Like, he's still going to do Sanchez things. Whereas Dyer, I feel like, will have less calamitous moments if he actually is surrounded by better teammates.
Yeah.
But,
I agree.
Dave,
and
what was your original question? Sorry.
I don't even know, but I don't know. But we're just going to keep talking about Dyer.
Keep going.
But Rob Sham makes a very good point here. He says Klopp had Sacco Lovren on his first times. If the Conte project is long term, we fill all of our gaps summer by summer, not in one summer. And I agree. That's why I'm saying, look, keep Dyer this season, but then next summer, sell him. That's what I want to do. Keep him around this season, let him fight the competition, but then next summer, sell him and gradually phase him out. We have to improve back there. Liverpool, they went and got Virgil van Dijk and improved on the goalkeeper. Look at the difference it made. You know, you can't keep expecting your players to keep outscoring everybody each week. At some stage, you have to be able to rely on that back line to be able to consolidate and win you points. And right now, me personally, I can't rely on it. I don't know what I'm going to get game in, game out. Anyway, Jack, take this off in a different direction because I've took it off completely off the rails here.
I think your original question, you know, just had to do what was the type of center back that we should still be going for? Like, what are the qualities that original center back has? And if you ask me, Daniel, I feel like it's probably somebody that can play a right-sided center back and kind of through the middle, you know, so it probably has to be then a right-footed player. I've been kind of constantly suggesting left-footed players, but Adrian Stroka in the comments did point out that we actually need a right-footed player to be able to cover for Romero and to be able to cover for Dyer potentially if one of them are out. So it needs to be a right-footed center back by the looks of things. It needs to be a center back that's good in the air because I think we do struggle when it comes to being good in the air. As much as I did say Skriniar is not as good on the ball, maybe we do need Skriniar. Maybe he does fit the bill.
I mean, I'm not sure about Skriniar anymore. I think for sure he's going to PSG personally. I'd like him in the team. I think he's a great player. I think he's a great defender. But for me, I think he's already off to PSG personally.
Yeah, I think that might have actually fell through. I think it's what's happening over at Inter Milan is that they seem to be keeping everyone, but they can't keep everyone. And that's, you know, the problem there is that with Skriniar, even Bastoni came out and said that he would be delighted if they kept Skriniar. He said they should keep Skriniar if they want to push for a title, which is very complimentary word. So they're going to find some way of getting rid of, you know, maybe players in order to, bring in, I don't know, to be able to be financially stable. But it seems like Skriniar might, in fact, be staying, or at least not headed to PSG.
Well, I don't see him coming to Tottenham then because Inter Milan, they're not going to want to sell him. It's either PSG or Inter Milan because
I agree.
Inter Milan are too stubborn with their center backs at the moment.
And I think if Skriniar was to become available and PSG knew the fee, I think they'd probably be in there quicker than anybody else as well to try and look. I really want.
Also, the looks of things, just quickly, Inter Milan didn't get either of their big targets. Gleison Bremer was one of their big targets. Paulo Dybala was their other big targets. They missed out on both. So maybe those financial things were like on the basis that they would get those players. So it was like they need to sell these guys in order to bring in these players. but they didn't actually get those players. So,
Well, yeah. Well, on the topic of Eric Dyer, I just remembered something. Don't you guys remember when Conte said he could be the best center back in the world?
And then since he said them words, he's let me down week in, week out with some of the stuff he's been doing. Look, maybe I'm a bit harsh on him because, look, we were doing tactical breakdowns of every single game last season. And when you're doing the tactical breakdowns, you see every little mistake that a player makes. And maybe I'm being harsh on him for them reasons. Look, maybe he can come across this season and maybe he can prove me better. But, look, Conte said them words, but he also said, Harry Winks is a good guy, but Harry Winks is out the door this summer. So, like what I'll say on that, Daniel, is Conte is a very smart guy. He's playing 5D chess. He's saying that so that Dyer feels like he's a good player because Dyer's probably listening to someone like me and it's getting him down. So then Conte comes out and says, no, Dyer, you're one of the best. So then he goes out there and performs probably. But look, Daniel, if he has a good season this season, I'll hold my hands up, my man. I'll hold my hands up. But he has to have a good season by my standards and what I expect from a centre-back. But look, I mean, what's your season expectations this season, Daniel? Where do you think Conte can take this?
Honestly, I'm not sure why not enough people are talking about Liverpool. Liverpool are looking crap. Without Mane, that front three is downgraded so much. And they haven't really improved their squad on any factor. They've signed a midfielder from the Championship and a striker who can't hit a barn door. So, honestly, Liverpool are looking... I honestly think we'll go second. I don't think we're going to go for a title race. Well, I think we could be challenging.
Race, Daniel.
I think second place. What? Wait, what?
Why do you think that we would be good enough for second, but we might not be good enough to catch Man City?
Man City.
Man City. I don't know if it's because I live with a Manchester City fan, being my father, that he's waxing lyrical about their team. But I just see them on a different galaxy than every other team.
I agree.
The thing is, even if Haaland gets injured for a part of the season, they've got Alvarez, which I rate very, very highly. So
not even that though. They've won titles before without Gabriel Jesus, without
exactly.
like they've won titles like without a striker. So if Haaland goes out, like they know what to do without a big striker. It's just having Haaland, I think, just elevates them to another level. It gives them another dimension.
Like before, when they won leagues without us playing a striker, they had like a Sterling, they had a Gabriel Jesus if needed. But the fact that they don't have them guys, if Haaland is out injured, can they still replicate that without having the likes of a Sterling and people like that there to help them?
Well, I just added they have Alvarez. Alvarez is a very, very clinical striker.
Well, he's an unknown quantity from Argentina until he comes to the Premier League and proves it.
They have Mahrez. Mahrez, I think, I actually don't think Sterling could hit. Sterling is one of the worst finishers I think I've ever seen. In fact, the guy needs 12 chances in order to score, if you ask me.
Although
especially he has he honestly has some of the biggest sitters I've seen, in my lifetime, especially huge ones. He even lost Man City, the semifinal with that sitter against Lyon. But Mahrez, I think, is a very good finisher. In fact, I think he actually, is pretty tidy. Phil Foden, I actually think, is a bit underrated when it comes to finishing too. He has a good shot on him. We all know De Bruyne is one of the best strikers of the ball in the world. Joao Cancelo at one stage, was banging them in, and then he, started moving towards the assists. I don't know. I think they'll never have problems with, being able to hit it into the back of the net. I kind of agree with Daniel. I feel like Man City are just such levels beyond Liverpool, and maybe that's why he brought up Liverpool, Dave, because Liverpool Man City still look a bit immortal. They look like a bit, unbeatable, whereas Liverpool, they don't look as immortal as they did before.
I sort of agree with Daniel when it comes to Liverpool. For me, I would have preferred to sell someone like Mo Salah. I think Mo Salah is very, very greedy. Whereas when you look at Mane, he'd have no problem squaring it to other people. So for me, I actually think they'll really struggle without Mane this season. I really do believe that. So, yeah, look, Daniel, you could be spot on, my man. You could be spot on, man.
I don't know if we're going to take second, though. I'm just saying Liverpool are not going to be in a title challenge. They will not be fighting like how they usually are with City, like a 1-point difference. I think Man City will win the league by a mile. And their team is just downgraded too much. And Klopp looks out of his depth, honestly. It's not looking good for Liverpool or at Chelsea.
No, look, Chelsea, it's definitely not anywhere. There's trouble brewing there, getting smacked up 4-0 by an average Arsenal team who we absolutely crumbled in the North London derby.
They lost to Charlton. They lost to Charlton. They lost to Charlton. Do you know how embarrassing that is? To lose to an MLS team. They're not even the best MLS team in the world.
Yeah. It's shocking. It's shocking. Look, it's great for us. It's great for us. Daniel, do you think we have them away second game of the season? Is that the right time to get these fuckers and get rid of that hoodoo?
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, that would be the game I'll be looking at. The battle at the bridge, it's always a feisty game. They've gotten a few signings, which has been very, very difficult for them over the window with their new owner. They was not looking good for them at a point. They were not signing anybody, but then they got a few signings, and you were starting to think, oh, Chelsea are coming back. And then this terrible preseason comes. You just have to wonder, will Spurs take over Chelsea's spot at third place? I think, for me, we're favorites for third place at the moment. I think if I could place right now, and I think if every Premier League fan could make a league right now, they'd put Man City first, Liverpool second, and Spurs third. For me, that's the top three for me.
I'd agree with that. I definitely agree with that, my man. Anything else you want to talk about Tottenham before we let you go, my man?
I'm not sure. I've got a new retro kit.
Nice. Where'd you get that, man?
Not sure. My mom got it for me for my birthday, which was not too long ago, but it just arrived, and I got the Champions League badge on the kit.
No way. That's quality. That. It's a very nice jersey, I have to say. It's a very, very nice jersey. I really like that.
Yeah.
Any more retro jerseys coming your way?
No, I don't think retro. Maybe when we won the FA Cup, the double or something. But my mom messed up with the new kit because she actually put the Premier League lettering in the back and the Champions League badge. But bless her, she tried. She has absolutely no clue, nothing about football.
What you need to do is you need to say exactly that. Thank you for trying, but next time, this is what you need to do.
Yeah, she needs to stop trying to buy stuff behind my back because I could have at least helped her and not got the Premier League lettering. But it is what it is. Yeah, at least I appreciate her trying.
Exactly. You got to appreciate the effort. It's the thoughts that count, my man. It really is.
Yeah.
But look, Daniel, it's been a pleasure. But before we let you go, where can people find you, brother?
You guys can find me on Dan Teacher C on YouTube and on Twitter. I've got a few stuff coming your way. I've actually got an interesting video of Jed Spence coming up. I'll dig in deep into who is Jed Spence. 5 facts you probably didn't know about Jed Spence, and the video's coming out soon. So if you like what I have to say, make sure to check out my channel.
You got to send me that video, my man. I'll definitely be interested to have a look at Jedi Spence.
No problem. I sure will. No, and by the way, I send you a DM on Twitter.
Yeah, do. I definitely want to check that out. I love a bit of Jedi Spence. Any bit of research on him. I've done a lot of research myself, so hopefully we can get a big season from the kid. But look, Daniel, my man, we'll see you again soon, brother. Season right around the corner. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on,
Big up, Dan. Everybody check out his channel as well. You can have the link right there. Check it out. Give it a big red subscribe button. He did great as well, Dave. It was good chatting to him at the end, especially for the last guest as well. I thought he did fabulously. So, Dan, really do appreciate you coming on. Everybody show him the support.
I just want to say I do apologize, Dave. I haven't looked at my phone. I'm only after checking it now. And you sent me that. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you sent me that a while ago. Look, my man, we're about to end off. I've a few things I need to go and do, my man. So I do apologize, but we'll get you on the next one, lad. But look, I want to say to everybody out there, a massive thank you for your support today, for tuning in, smashing that like, the subscribe, and helping the channel with super chats. You are all absolute legends, and it's the support you show myself and Jack on a daily basis is absolutely incredible, relentless. And all we can do is say thank you for that. And a massive thank you to all the guests who come on and really kind of create these fan shows. I mean, it'd be boring if it was just myself and Jack and it was advertised as a fan show. So the fact that you fans come on and have your say is brilliant. Hopefully we will see more and more people come out of the woodwork as the season goes on these fan shows. That would be absolutely brilliant. But guys, we have got the pre-match
along
pump
tomorrow.
up coming up. Pre-match build-up coming up tomorrow. So look out for that. Make sure you hit the notification bell and click all so you get notifications every time we go live. And then we'll be following that up with a live watch along for the Tottenham and Roma, Conte versus Jose. Going to be very, very interesting game indeed. So, guys, we're going to leave it there. We'll see you all back here tomorrow. As always, come on, you Spurs. In Conte we trust.
Conte we trust.
Go!